Good evening to round 2 of the Simrigs Sprint Series here at Octane Online Racing for Barcelona in split yellow, followed by split green later tonight. It is I, Cameron Thistlethwaite, followed by Mitchy Hobbs and Chrissy Murphy with Brent Sykes on the camera here at sunny Catalonia. I am rolling my vowels. I don't know why, but here we are at lovely Barcelona, which we all know and love, and wish it was raining just to ruin the fun. But how are we today, chaps? What are your thoughts on this circuit?
I'm just looking forward to seeing the death of many left-sided Pirelli tyres.
Yes, it is spicy hot today, with temps well into the 30s and maybe even the 40s when it comes to the track. We shall see, and those Mustangs are going to be shredding those front lefts and rear lefts, and if there's any GTRs in this split, we'll be doing so as well. But everyone's going to feel the heat. Hobbsy, how are you today? Turn off the Olympics. Do your job.
The Olympics are off now. The volleyball's finished. We're all good, but
men's volleyball.
Yes, of course. No, look, it's going to be an interesting one. As Lunchbag said, it's certainly going to see a lot of death to the left tyres, and interestingly, I think you'll find probably a lot of people won't take tyres in the one mandatory pits that we have for our 60-minute race tonight, because from what I can tell and from what I've seen from people's laps, you can't make up the time loss in the race if you take tyres. It's as simple as that. Unless you're lapping minimum 1.5 to 2 seconds a lap quicker, you're not going to make the time. So it's going to be interesting to see what people's strategies might be in this race. But yeah, we're going to see temps around, I think, sort of low to maybe mid 30s ambient temps, and near sort of low to mid 40s on the track. So probably the temps that nobody likes, but it's certainly going to raise some eyes in the race around who can sort of preserve their tyres and keep the consistent pace up over the 60 minutes. I think they're probably glad it's only a 60-minute race, to be quite honest with you.
Yep, and to run through the settings and the format for this round, we have obviously got qualification on right now. It's 12 minutes, not 12 minutes, my apologies, 15 minutes in total, and it will be going on for in the background. But for the race, yes, like we said, 60 minutes, a mandatory stop of 1 only for fuel, no fixed fueling rate, so fuel pit stop time is dependent on how much fuel you put in, and obviously whether you take tires or not. It'll obviously be 30 seconds if you take tires, and you can fuel if you are at the same time. But will you make the time back up? Because a lot of people will be full fueled at the start and basically taking 1 or 2 liters at the stop to basically only have a 3-second stop at most. So yes, a little bit decisive on strategy. I don't think it's, some people suggest it's maybe not as clear cut, for most of these races. It's been very sort of, if there is no mandatory tire stop, 60 minutes is more than enough to get on tires, and it's generally an easy, just a quick splash and dash. But with the temperature, the nature of this circuit, the high energy requirement of this circuit with the tires, it could bring it into question a little bit of whether the taking tires is going to be quicker. But yes, we shall see. We'll send the guinea pigs out in split yellow, and all the other splits will be intently watching, seeing what works and what didn't.
Yeah, it's going to be interesting to see, just how some of these cars handle those hotter temps. As we know, the Mustang likes to shred tyres. McLaren can probably shred some tyres. Audi, likes to shred tyres. A lot of them like to shred the tyres. Porsche will shred the tyres too. So it's certainly going to be an interesting one overall to see sort of the pace we're going to get from the drivers, and see if they're a little bit more conservative in terms of times to keep the tyres in check a little bit more. We're getting a couple of times coming in now. Van Piper currently P7 and losing rapidly as I say that, but he's 4 tenths up, so this will certainly help his campaign on his first proper warm tyre lap. Of course, he didn't have a first proper hot lap on colder tyres. Then they'll get onto those nice warmer rubber for the second lap. It's going to put him up to P6. Chris Taylor's currently P1's just under 44.1 across the line. Here is Tom McDonald, T-Mac, almost a second up. Might have had a bit of a rough first lap, but is potentially going to get impeded by Brown at just up ahead. We'll keep an eye on how that one's going to play out, but hopefully can get impeded too much. 1.1 up, not too far off. I reckon this will put him up probably close to the top 3. In fact, it is P2 with a 44.3, so that's a nice lap there. Probably a bit more time in the bag. Ferrari not the strongest on the straight, so never mind. Spinazzi's just taking the P2. Don't worry about it.
Yep. Mustang's looking very strong here on 1 lap pace. Obviously, race is going to be very different. Qualifying is still going to be quite important. It is a very big grid. It's not a small track, but it is hard to find space out there, as I found out in the practice server the other night. Can be quite congested. Noticeable amount of, on most tracks it's a little bit negligible, but I feel like here aero wash is very much a factor as well, being within maybe 1 or 2 seconds of a car, depending on obviously what car you're driving as well. And we obviously know the car on screen right now isn't really affected by aero wash because it doesn't have any aero to be washed. But still, Stan Buskovas going well in the championship series. Had a half-decent run out. Kota goes to P1, 43.8 from Stan Buskovas. That's a very good lap. And yeah, looking good in the GTR. GTR not too bad around here on single lap pace.
Yes, single lap pace, but multi-lap pace, probably not ideal. But lunch bag question for you. I know you love the Porsche. How much would you be crying right now in these temps?
Honestly, it's not too bad. You just if you have a little slide on the first 2 or 3 laps of the stint, my answer might change, but it's not too bad.
Aha, right. Okay. Well, here's the solution for all Porsche drivers. Don't slide. There you go. 30-34 at the moment. That's not too bad. I could probably handle that, but I wouldn't want to go much hotter than that. You see Bub now, 44.8 puts him to P10. Going to quickly pop to the right-hand side of the track, pull over in a safe manner, return to the garage and come out for the other half of this qualifying session. 45.5 there from Bishop in the Aston. Around comes Mickelson, 1 second up. That's track limits. That's another thing we can talk about, because everybody loves Barcelona for the track limits. The final corner, turn 1, 2, if you get it wrong, outside of turn 3, turn 6, try 7, 8, exit of 9. No one likes them.
Yeah. I find it, out of the 2 rounds that we've had so far, definitely the lesser of the 2 evils of track limits. I think track limits is a bang wherever you go, but I found it not too bad here. But maybe I wasn't pushing up to the limit enough. But I definitely found it at turn 3, as will most of many cars here. We saw Zeri had a good run at Kota as well in the Mustang. In the 222 car, goes up to P8, respectable time of a 44.5. I was quite happy with my 44.3, and then saw what the times everyone was doing in the practice server. Do expect, obviously, we saw 43 from Buskovas. We obviously saw in the practice server as well, like a lot of people in the 43s, generally, the sweats, the esports, the Qleys, the keys, and other people with nothing else in their life to do. No, we love them, kind of, not really.
Ooh, shots fired. Someone clip that.
Look, the sentiment was already there. We know how it goes. You got to play the game.
I will say the track limits at Barcelona, at least they make sense. The track limits at Kota were just perplexing.
Let's not even go and talk about the totally existent track limits at Kota. I don't know what you're talking about, but they're not very... Oh, here's the livery I like. Look at this. This is just nice and simple, nice white car. Just, what could you ask for? A bit of pink. Don't go too white on
Thank God they can't paint on the windows, because otherwise they'll be painted as well.
They'd be painted too. You'd be blind, but don't worry about it.
I will take issue as a painter with this car. I think albino wallabies are like, whoa, settle down, draw it back a little bit.
I think that livery is what happens when you find the fill bucket in paint.
Yes.
In Photoshop.
Yeah, I agree. That is certainly one way to fill. Sliding a little bit there, the McLaren. Just trying to keep it in its limb. It's a little bit of a nasty one there. If you hit the curb, you're most likely going to go wide and just invalidate the lap. Coming down to the hairpin now, turn 10, everybody's favourite turn because the breaking point makes no sense and it changes every single lap. But a good exit there, losing a little bit of time. Yeah, especially in the McLaren. It's a little bit of time on exit, a little bit deep there. Don't want to go too wide. You want to try and hug the curb. Try and almost double apex it if you like. Coming through, find a couple of corners. See how this goes. Don't too much curb, good exit.
Yeah, bit conservative to say the least, but he was quite up on his delta, and easy run from the McLaren through the last corner. Smooth as silk with this car, I will say, driving it here. Gonna return to garage for a fresh set of boots. Obviously, we've been seeing that a lot with these temps. Generally, the first lap, because it is so warm, you have to run the pressures quite low, so you generally don't really get the best performance on the first run, timed run, and maybe the second timed run is obviously where you kind of get the best of the most. But because of the heat, generally the third run is not so good because you generally use the most out of the freshness out of the tires, especially given the temperatures that we are dealing. If we could maybe see from our lovely director, see what the temps are currently for the track, or maybe we'll wait until the end of the session. Actually, granted, we've got 3 minutes left to go, but Jarecki here there we go, thank you very much. 35, so not as warm as what we saw in the practice servers, but maybe we'll get that for the race. I think Jarecki got held up by the Audi that was trying to get out of the way, but no real good place to get out of the way, and has compromised the chicane run for Jarecki. And we'll go back to Taylor as well, one of our definitely championship contenders. Got on the pro badge finally, as we expected.
A well-deserved promotion there for Chris Taylor.
Yep, only 28 points behind Tom McDonald in the championship overall. Tom McDonald leaving it up with 123 points, and followed by actually Harsh Kumar in silver class on 100 points. Then obviously by Taylor on the aforementioned 95. Hayden Marsh as well, also leading a Pro-Am with 74 points, and Phil McCulley on 25 points for Am class.
Bit of slipstream here. Don't mind if you do in the Mustang. Cross comes the line. Oh, wow. That's a statement right there if I've ever seen one.
Absolutely. Yep. I will say, on that corner that we just saw at the exit of turn 12, I love how they put gravel out there. So, if you go wide, you lose time, as it should be, and not be just an invalidation, even though it will be an invalidation. It's a natural deterrent, is what we like to see. T-Mac here in the Ferrari, half a second down on pole so far, but 1.5 hundredths up on his Delta. And coming around turn 4, the Repsol corner, a bit of a tricky corner, but the TC system to the Ferrari, I'm sure, will be doing a good job. And quickly out through turn 5. What's your favourite and least favourite corners here, gentlemen?
That's a tough one. I do like this fast right-hander up here, turn 9. I find that you get it right and it's really satisfying. And the corners I don't like, it's got to be the final little chicane at the end of sector 3. That's just a nightmare. You can get rid of it.
Yeah, that fast right-hander is good fun. I actually like all of sector 1, which might be a bit of a hot take, but when you get it right, it is very satisfying.
Should have gone to Specsavers, I think. Sector 1 is a pain in the backside. Oh, there's a car that's going all over the place. That's Spinazzi, I believe. Oh, and T-Max. Yeah, T-Max.
Find that wall.
He's not happy. Yeah, we'll keep an eye on the drivers coming into the pit lane because it can throw you off a little bit. You've got to slow down a little bit more than you'd expect. So have to keep an eye on hoping no one hits the wall. Bub now was 2 tenths up, lost a little bit through that little complex out of the hairpin. It's a real nice one to see if we can gain anything back in final corners. Nice use of the curb. Yes, got to be a 10th. Is it going to be enough for a position? No, it's not. So he's going to stick P7 provisionally. Still a couple of drivers to come across, of course. So we'll see how that affects his positioning.
Yep. There's Jay Ellis now. Was up, but it's bleeding, coming down. He might pip Fisher at the end of this one for P15. There we go. I guess P14 as well, ahead of Brownette. So a little bit of an improvement, but it would be ruining, losing a few tenths here and there. As we see Buscobas here, he is up, losing a little bit of time, and he has got Taylor ahead of him. Not Taylor, sorry, so another Mustang ahead of him. And probably just, being a little bit of a distraction, just having that car there ahead of you, you're not sure what it's going to do, and it's pretty hard to commit and carry the speed when it is the case. But 2 tenths up, a good exit as well, coming through this long right-hander, which the GTR is not so good at, but still pulling and shifting towards the line. It'll be enough. Definitely not 1/10 off Taylor, but a really respectable time from Buscobas in the GTR here at Barcelona. But we shall see if it's going to be enough to withstand the whole race. Currently Spinazzi here on an invalidated lap and is done, I believe, for the session, unless it is a glitch, but he's not really improving or going slower, and it'll be a dead set equal time of a 44 dead for Spinazzi. So that's a qualifying session done, and well done to Chris Taylor.
44-degree track, you love to see it.
Ooh, could cook dinner on that.
Well, not that hot.
Yeah. Dinner's generally just some buttered bread for me. I'm very poor.
You could definitely put some chicken salt on that dinner.
I pretend
here
it's
we
butter.
go. Let's upset John Sneakus again. That's what I'm hearing from Lunchback.
I literally have chicken salt in hand in arm's reach right now. Mitani's, yeah. This is Mitani's Simrigs Sprint Series, brought to you now, our new sponsorship deal. Chicken salt must be applied to all 4 Pirellis at the start of this grid. That's one of the reasons. That's one of the contractual obligations as well.
Someone needs to put chicken salt on their livery. I mean, look at those liveries though. There's a wide variety of. Good one. There's a lot of bright colours though. Bright green Mustang, yellow Aston, purple. Oh, don't tell me that's Nyan Cat on that Ferrari. I'm going to cry.
Yep. Why not? We'll do a grid rundown of Chrissy Taylor on pole position, Chrissy to pro finally, and leading up the 17 on the P1 spot, followed by Stan Buscobas in the GTR for car 29 in silver class, Spinazzi in the 111 for the Ford Mustang True Blues. Team Macau Championship leader in the 111 Ferrari in P4, followed by Wells in the fellow Ferrari, making up our triplet of Ferraris from 4th to P6, which is ended up with Kumar in the 117. Going to be one to watch for the races, I think, those Ferraris. Sean Bob now, our lead McLaren in the 165 in P7, followed by Aidan Squires in the Mustang in P8. Arno Loz in the 555 BMW. Nice to see BMW up there in P9, followed by Zeri in the Mustang in car 222 for green stuff. Benjamin Piper in the Permobile Audi, as we know and love. He'll be one to watch those rear tires in this race for sure, followed by Diogo Greco in the McLaren. Ryan King now in the fellow McLaren for Pro-Am class in P13, followed by Jarecki in P14 for the Mustang. Ellis for 47 in the Ferrari, followed by Brownette in P16 in the fellow Ferrari in the Qual Atlas Motorsport. Jai Fisher in the Mustang for P17, followed by Rondinella, our fellow commentator, in P18 for the Fruit Bowl, Banana Matt. Wesley Yao in the Porsche, we'll be dreading him in this race for the Porsche in P19, followed by Stockton in the Ferrari for the Penrite car in P20. Lim in P21, followed by Kidman in P22 for a set of McLarens on that row. McCulley in a Mercedes? Isn't that a relic? in P23, followed by Marsh in the Ferrari for P24, Winton in the Porsche for AM class in 72, George Cook in the car 14 for P26, Bishop in the Aston Martin 89 for P27, Warner in the GTR for 2028, Lemonman in 660, followed by Nicholson in P30 as well. Nice livery on that one. Our final few is Taplin in the car 58 for 31st, followed by 32nd of Byrne, Marsh in P33, Spencerley in the Lamborghini for P34, Costa, Kranich, Lloyd, and Atkinson to make up our final 4 for the grid. 38 runners out there. I don't want to do that anymore. Please, someone else take over.
Why would we want to take over? You were doing such a great job. There's some lovely liveries there, a couple of lunch bags, Phil Tool favourites. I'm sure we'll see some more of those over the coming splits. But drivers, oh look, I'm going to take a punt. And I'm going to say they don't need to warm up their tyres, because I think just by driving around they'll be warm enough come the race start. So drivers
we'll need to build those pressures.
Well, of course, build the pressures up, but you want to do that in such a way you don't ruin the tyres. So they might just do a bit of holding the brakes, do a bit of brake dragging, and get them up to pressure for the race start. Certainly see some of that. So look to come too wide, double file, as it's known in the business. And, get to the race start. It's going to be an exciting one.
Yep. Now, race director, there's been a few words after the various splits at COTA, not just split yellow. I think split yellow was probably the best behaved, to be honest, out of all the splits at COTA. And so, the race director wants a much big improvement for round 2, which I think we might get. People have mellowed out a little bit as we're getting double file, all a bit weird from the chicane. We'll be going 2x2, big old drag race into turn 1. It's quite a long run from when they go green to start. But as they come along now, race start initialized will be starting soon. Oh, we're already green. It's quite an early one in comparison. Oh, but we've already had Dev in the background. McLaren, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 cars, at least 7, maybe even 8. And surely it's a safety car. It's got to be even a red flag if we could. It is absolute death, and big cars are still rolling around. Oh, race director's not going to be happy. Alex Imey on, steaming from here.
That was literally 5 fucking meters into this race, and they go and do that.
Mullock's in
chat.
chat.
Serious? I haven't seen that for so long. I didn't think I'd ever see that again in OR, and yet here we are. That sort of stuff happening. Safety car. That's a nice graphic they've got there, but Jesus. Who caused... Oh, actually, let's not even look at who caused that. Let's just...
I saw one of the Koala motorsport cars.
Oh, no.
Not saying who started it, but I'm sure we'll fetch up. We'll get the telescope out.
I think there'll be a few chicken salty drivers after that one.
So watch the black and cars ahead around Rondinella. Oh, there's a white. It's the white McLaren that come across the nose.
Yeah. Yep.
And it's all just people can't barely react in time. Oh dear, shocking.
I don't even like that. There was nothing that Rondinella could do there. The McLaren just came across him. He was in his spot, and simply wasn't enough room. And yeah, oh dear, this is lovely. I wonder if the race director's got his whiskey out, because he's going to need a lot of it after that one.
Could we all spare a thought for the stewards as well, trying to work out that one?
Oh yeah. They need some extra cookies for that one.
Yeah, the cracks on the seals of the whiskey jars have already been broken. Were broken well and truly at COTA, but I think well and truly, I praised bloody split yellow. You've gone and disappointed me. I said you were probably the best out of COTA, and now you're probably lead tick for being the worst here so far at Barcelona, and I don't even need to see the rest of the 3 splits, but potentially, we might be SC ending And Stan Buscobas did take the lead from Taylor at the start of this race, and he's holding. He's not going at the earliest opportune moments, making everyone wait. I'm hoping people don't get a Mugello 2020 in the background and hoping everyone's going, but he has gone because he has got to the line, does a best lap, but that's irrelevant, and he's got a good jump so far from Taylor, and will be, I think, unprecedented, unfazed into turn 1 for Stan.
I think Wells missed the restart there because he's having to fend off about 4 cars behind him.
Yeah, that was a rough start there for Wells. A couple of cars coming in out of the pits. Of course, we are running a virtual safety car here, so the leader will act as the safety car almost, holding around 180 to 100 Ks, leading cars around for however many laps, and they get to take the start on their side. And you can't pit whilst under the safety car, but if the safety car's coming in, I do believe that you can pit to repair damage. I'm not sure if you can take that mandatory stop or not. We'll see.
I believe you can.
Drivers do. I believe you can if once the safety car's coming in, not
Yep.
whilst under it, I believe. So
Yeah, if it's coming in, it's act as normal.
yes, exactly. So Jerry at the moment has got another Mustang friend around him. I believe that's Squires. Piper's lurking. Loz at the back. There's a number of cars coming in. This one, Squires sticking their nose out. Piper just trying to look maybe for or to get away around Squires, but nothing much being done as of yet. A little bit bumpy through this section.
So some more death.
The easiest. Yeah, there is more death at the fast right-hander. What's going on? Like, is this Coda 2.0? What am I seeing?
Yep, I think the heat has gotten to some of the drivers, and it is cracking a little bit as we get our first represented times. The first lap of a 1:47, which is fair about for most of the drivers. And granted, we had an extra, basically formation lap, a safety car lap, for people to bring up those temps. As we get a replay here from our lovely Brent on the cameras. I believe we have the Audi here. I think I did see 299. Yep,
Ooh,
I think that is of Lloyd. Damage goes wide. A bit of a concertina effect as you've got the Lamborghini. I believe that is Spencer, our only Lambo in this split. Does get by, but comes down, and the car's still there. Unfortunate. I thought maybe thought you could clear him or he'd back out, but he did come down, and the car was still there. And another one to the steward, surely.
I don't even know how to describe what I'm seeing. Like, oh, this is welcome to racing here at Barcelona. People love it. That's what happens when you get damage. You stick to the racing line. Just, that sort of stuff happens, and there's not a lot you can do about it. Arno Loz at the moment sitting P9. Jared Ellis in behind in the Phil Tool white car. Piper's in a good little spot here. Audi's got good straight line speed and in a slipstream of the monstrous BMW. So hopefully something be done here. Ellis just sticking in behind, looking for that slipstream in the Ferrari. Not the best on the straights as the Ferrari, but the Porsche, I'm told, is 10 Ks down on the straight. So that's probably something to look out for there. So we see
as is tradition.
Oh, there's a couple. Oh my, yeah. There's more cars around. Isn't that lovely?
Warner
that's
was in there.
Nissan around there. That's Warner, yeah. Sure is. And 72, that's Ben Winton as well. Buscovas 44.4. That's a good lap from him, especially in these temps. Hopefully he's not shredding the tyres too much for that one. But it's not chaos. It's called chaos at Barcelona for a special reason, is it? Surely.
Yes, indeed not. As we see here, the 72 of Winton, a bit of rear damage on the Porsche, and surely that won't affect the rear engine car, not one bit. But as he's coming down now for turn 10, the hard stop, which I think I wish they kept in the F1 change, as he either lay on the brakes or the as the GTR. Not sure if the GTR was kind of pulling up a bit earlier, or he was very late on the brakes from that angle. We'll leave that one to the stewards, but messy, unfortunately. See here, Atkinson in the McLaren was doing good times in the practice server behind the other McLaren of Marsh, and yes, going well so far. I think it's very tricky. It's not the necessarily easiest track to pass. Not that any track really is, but I think if you got a top speed advantage, you can generally, as Atkinson looks like he wants to try and get a little bit of overlap to force the maneuver, but doesn't really get there. But that said, the space is left for him. So I think Marsh wasn't sure whether he was going to send it or not, and kind of just hovered there a little bit. But there's still line of formation still coming around, both going very wide at turn
Track
9.
limit warning there. That's
Pressure loss
you
warning,
get a
if anything.
well, yeah, pressure loss warning. You get a warning. You get a warning. Oprah's here at Barcelona giving out all the warnings. This is. I hope I don't see any drive-throughs too early on. You can see Rondinella, Cook, Warner also serving the pit stop. Winton's come in as well. So people opting to pit early, try and come out maybe in some clean air, get some consistent laps in, and maybe try and make up some places that way. As Jared Ellis is trying to get a bit of a sniff down on Ben Piper, just getting the slipstream, which is the only real thing that's going to keep the Ferrari in it on the straights. Looks to the inside. Oh, that was a late one. Yeah, shove him off track. That was, I think, to be quite honest with you, I saw that one coming. And you see, Jarecki's just trying to get round Piper after being shoved off track. And I think Piper's probably called his number there for that bit of a hip and shoulder. So the stewards, I don't envy them right now. They've probably got a list of about 500 incidents to look at.
Yeah, maybe was a smidge late from the Ferrari into the braking zone because, you know, I think here in particular, like a little bit of Kota, if you get a sniff, you kind of have to grab it by both hands and get it done because it's doesn't always, you know, happen every lap unless you've, as I said, got a good straight line advantage down the straights. But yeah, I think Piper will be rightfully calling that one out as I think he was entitled to a bit more space. He definitely wasn't letting the Ferrari go, that's for sure.
So I'm looking at this going, is yellow the new
I think he's
red
redressing.
after what I'm seeing. Oh, redressing, yeah. I think that's fair enough. He saw that one coming. The stewards take
Might
that
be
into
irrelevant
account.
though.
That might be irrelevant, yeah, absolutely. But maybe this should take into account. But you know, I'm getting flashbacks. So I think I'm watching Split Red again. This is insane. War of.
You've done a great job on this one so far.
Yeah, I mean, 299's round. That's unideal. That's Lloyd at the 7-8 complex, everyone's favourite complex on this track. Everyone loves the curb usage you've got to take there. We'll have a quick look at what's happened. So Lloyd was the one that had that damage earlier. Maybe he's been tapped by the Mercedes. We'll have a look. And takes an interesting line and too much curb on the brakes. See you later. Yep, that's a good one. It's a rough one, especially in the Audi, because you've really got to have that rearward brake bias to get the car stopped. So bit of a nice one for him. Bishop looking on Winton. Of course, Bishop hasn't pit yet, so have to look for maybe an alternative strategy here. If he's going to get overtaken by those that have already pitted. Atkinson, Costa, Piper, all in the pits. I think Piper thinks he might just need a bit of that clean air. We'll see how that affects the lap times, though, because if you do pit a little bit earlier, the tyre warming doesn't quite give you the same lap times once you've come into the pits and the tyres have cooled down. So hopefully the drivers make the most use of their tyres, keeping those maybe the consistent 44, 45, 46 lap times as well. We saw Buskers did do that 44.4. A couple of laps ago, fastest lap of the race so far. Wesley Yao at the moment just trying to chase down a Mustang of Jai Fisher, which will be hilarious considering how slow the Porsche is on the straight compared to the Mustang. So keep an eye on that one. There's a couple of little groups of cars starting to form now. This little pack in here from about Kumar down to, I'm going to take this, probably Brownett, I'd almost say. So it's almost, yeah, it's about 11 cars in this little group, and you've got the group about 5 up the front, and those back that have made that alternative strategy in their race. To see how it plays out, but so far after the couple of incidents we haven't seen too many more, which is good. We know where else we could be at the moment. Yeah, I was just trying to defend off Lim as quickly as possible. We'll hopefully see some penalties start coming through to give us a bit of an idea, but you can see the McLaren absolutely stomping the Porsche on the straight. I hear you crying in Porsche top speed there, Lunchbag.
I'm used to it at this point. It's just, you just hope to get as much distance in front of them through the curves, and you just pray on the straights, but I wouldn't change it. Porsche's still the best one in the car drive.
Gotta respect a man who knows what he likes and is willing to stand by it. There's a Porsche stand that is Lunchy joining us in the box as Brent takes over for Glenn on the broadcast. We appreciate every one of you who volunteers. You know, it's we don't bite. Well, you know, maybe Hobbsy likes a nibble, but come join us whether you want to steward the broadcast or commentary. Just waffle into the microphone like we do. It's not, you know, anyone can do it.
You say, what do? We just waffle. You're just going to throw me under the bus like that, but that's okay.
Mate, if I'm going, you're going.
Oh, come on, that's not fair.
Yeah, complimentary handcuffs here in the commentary booth.
Oh, no.
Compulsory also.
Compulsory?
But anyway...
Oh, that wasn't in the contract. Contract,
yeah. Contract, yeah. Well, you know, you shouldn't have signed that phone book of a contract if you didn't want to... if you wanted your rights, you know, preserved. I was going to say, as we do the housekeeping up front, we haven't checked in for a while, but Sambo Scoba's going really well at the start. And doing a good job at the front, actually kind of brought out a bit of a lead over Chris Taylor. While T-Mac has retained that third, Wells has gone ahead of Spinazzi and taken up P4, so there'll be one to watch. I think those, you know, really got to watch those Ferraris over this race, because I think they will look after their tires a lot better than these front engine bricks around them, and I know that because I've driven them here, and having driven the McLaren here now, my God, it's so nice to have a good front engine, front downforce, active car here at this track. It is beautiful to drive, and I think will conserve the tires, well, very, very well, because that GTR plows on, especially at turn 3.
It'd be interesting to see how the Ferrari looks after its tyres with a bit of extra ballast.
I don't know what you're talking about.
I haven't driven the Ferrari much because I personally find it sleepy, boring to drive, but...
So,
yeah,
that's basically every other person that drives the Ferrari except me. That's exactly what they say. Sleepy at the front and boring to drive.
Yeah, it is a bit.
Fuel, though.
Yeah, well, yeah, it just sips away at its fuel reserves. Yeah, I echo the sentiment on the Ferrari in terms of its, you know, excitement levels. But it is hit pretty hard here with 26 plus kilos. I think the most weight out of any car added on the LFM BOP. With obviously stuff like the Lexus being the least, but yeah, some cars hit pretty hard, and some not so much, and some you know, might need a little bit more. Mustang, you for one, you seem to be good everywhere. But we shall see how they preserve those fronts. And, definitely going to be a question about. I think, you know, the more balance, obviously, you know, to not state race car obvious 101. The better balance you have the car, the generally easier you're going to find the tires, and you know you're going to have more even wear on the fronts and rears as a whole. If your car is better balanced, if you know a little bit too understeery, a little bit too oversteery, then you're just going to be, you know, creating those bigger wear patterns or flat spots or whatever you want to call them, and just making it worse over 60 minutes here. As we run the Nella here, and a little bit of threat from Costa. Shoots out. Costa did, I believe, was one of the cars that had a qualifying ban after the last race, as well as someone else who escapes me right now. But yes, the shenanigans of Kota were not missed and severely dealt with, and will continue to have severe penalties for any repeat offenders. So I'm sure Costa has found out to his chagrin.
Is that damage on that Ferrari, or is it? Yeah, it is damage.
Yeah, that's one of the cars that got turned around at the start.
Oh, don't do it!
Might be another turnaround.
You know what? Stockton, I'm 10 out of 10 for saving that. I saw that incident coming. I think we all did, to be quite honest, but that was just beautifully saved.
Oh, so there's more crap ahead as Lim and Fisher, I think, have come together.
Can someone do like a disappointed dad speech? Like, this is ridiculous.
It's every time you talk, I think.
Yeah, it must be. Let's have a look again.
You commentated to start, right?
No, I didn't. You did.
Nah, I don't remember that.
No, of course you don't. So that's Fisher.
Evident.
Lim. Wow, that was all right. That was ballsy from Lim. I'll give him that.
Oh, he's not going to overlap.
No.
If gap, Simbin.
I think Wesley Yao might have got a bit of a track cut warning there.
Yes. Which is unfortunate when you have to do it for taking avoidant.
Probably worth it rather than getting tangled up with those two.
Yeah. So here we got King now, doing a good job to be in the top 10 behind Arno Loz in the BMW, and a few BMWs across all the splits. BMW not really hitting the popularity vote in terms of selections, but still going well so far. Still a very competent car, especially around here.
I don't know about you guys. Sorry,
No,
I don't know about you guys, but I'm really looking forward to this last 15 minutes to see who's looked after their tyres and who hasn't.
Absolutely.
It'll be interesting. Need to say, I don't think Brownet's going to be enjoying life with that damage and that dirt. He's going to be using those fronts a lot more, and I think he'll be cooking them up, which is unideal to say the least, but hopefully he can pull something out and have that damage to repair as well. I'd certainly be looking to repair that damage if possible. I know the Ferrari can withstand a fair amount of front damage without it being too impacting. Hopefully he repairs that, or else he'll just chew through even more tyres. So we definitely don't want that for any of the drivers. Still doing his best to catch Stockton. Hopefully this time he can do it a bit less like Stevie Wonder. That's okay.
Yes, famous racing car driver Stevie Wonder.
Yeah, exactly.
You see Jarecki here behind Ellis in the Mustang, going well so far. These are not replay, it's still live pictures in case you were wondering. But yes, going to no problem, it happened. But yes, as coming through now. Yeah, I think Ed, to echo what you were saying, Lunchy, I think be interested to see, especially those who, because it's not a case of just driving it around for 60 minutes. I think you have to actively not. You have to be conservative to a degree and not overcommit. Oh, it's Jarecki. I'm not sure if there was the tiniest of touch, but it was really getting into the back of the Ferrari, probably more than he would have liked into the braking zone there. And surely if he stays this close, though, he should get a nice down the straight and maybe.
Yeah, but Hey, watch this. This is areas to watch.
Watch him cloud the curve.
To simply shift a couple past Alice without any real. Is it good one?
I think this is where we need the Fast and the Furious to take.
As he downshifts. Did get a good draft and maybe caught him a bit earlier than he would have wanted. Didn't get that sort of slingshot effect as a lovely camera. I do like the splitter cam, seeing the car ahead as well. Very, very, very nice. But yeah, kind of caught him and went to the left. You know, I think people should be more brave. Send it up the inside. What could go wrong?
No, trust me. I've gone around the outside of that turn many seasons ago, and I don't. Oh, for God's sake!
Every time he opens his mouth.
I don't know what it is. I didn't say anything about an incident. I was just talking about an overtake I made here. That's. Maybe. What if I start talking about my first OR win that I got here? What effect does that have on the race? Does anyone know?
I think that's why we just end the stream.
Oh, right. Okay. Fair enough. See,
as I said many moons ago, we went free ride down the straight here at Barcelona with Braden Ross, with you two and your Bentleys. No. Oh, that's one of the top 10 as well. I think that was oh my goodness, the name escapes me right now. But yes, I think that was Wells actually in the KA Motorsports car. And he's dropped back behind Spinazzi as a result of that with the Audi. You know, not to be harsh, but divering a little bit on the apex. probably just trying to recover things, but oh no. I'd be apoplectic if I was Wells.
Yeah, that was certainly. Here we go. Another. Oh, King. Wow, that was some good avoidance there to not take Loz off track. Greco's jumped into the pits to serve pit stop. 37 minutes left here. And you can see good Danfer and Piper and below have all taken. Most of them have taken their mandatory pit stop. But Ryan King just trying to hold on a bit. I think getting a little bit eager in the slipstream behind Arno Loz, so maybe can look to even just stick a nose out, try and scare Loz out of the way rather than almost try and push him off at turn 1. But the slipstream does seem to catch people off a little bit. They just need to keep in mind just 5 meters back, just to give yourself a little bit of extra space to ensure you're going to make the corner and not punt your opponent, because that is not ideal and the stewards will be very upsetted with you.
The stewards and race directors will turn this car around.
All of it. Yeah.
Oh, the two Ferraris are still going on. Browner and Stockton. The Carnage Nightmare is still going on. And we, make our buttholes the size of 5 pence pieces watching these two a little bit, not to be harsh.
Yeah, stop go 30 for Greco. Do believe from what I saw that is for pit speeding, so that's unideal, needless to say. So
no, don't, not here.
Don't. Oh my lord, that was Brown, code Brown.
Of all the places to overtake, that is not one of them.
No, funnily enough, you were reading my mind there, Lunchbag. I was thinking, I don't know if I would do that, especially a late of a dive like that. But that's more than okay, or each to their own, unless it doesn't work. Oh, goodness, King's looking to go around the
outside. But it's understeering off.
Yeah.
Good effort, though, by King. It's probably where the McLaren is definitely a lot stronger through turn 3, but the aero wash, and if the front-wheel drive, the car ahead, and it doesn't matter what car it is, if it kind of just hugs the apex, it goes a little bit deeper, though, into turn 5, but nothing can be really done. It is a little bit of one line track somewhat around here. It can be quite hard, but I'm sure King, you just got to be patient, don't get frustrated, don't get flummoxed. Surely we'll get him in due course. Oh, what a big rear end slide into turn 9. We'll be doing those left tyres no favour.
I get the feeling we could see a lot more of that over the next half an hour.
Yes, there's going to be a lot of sliding. How many penalties, Jasbok? One for stop go 30 given by the game for speeding pit lane. Nothing else has been given. I think the stewards are thoroughly looking at all the previous incidents with a shot of whiskey in the other hand, of course. But hopefully we'll see some come through. They may even end up, of course, they can be post-race penalties as well if the stewards need a little bit more time to look at them. Stockton here still trying to hold on with Browner after the little almost incident before. Lim's just trying to hold on to the back as well. Bub now still holding a little bit further back. In fact, not too far behind these two. So we've got Marsh as well. Marshy's a little bit further back down, just trying to hold his own. Here is Bub now, just holding on with Lim. It's got Marsh not too far back. That's a blue flag, of course, that they're just getting past. And we see Nicholson's jumped into the pits as well for the mandatory pit stop for fuel. Of course, they can take as much or as little fuel as they want. They can take 1 litre, and that fulfills the mandatory requirements. They can take half a tank of fuel on tyres if they want to, whatever they wish to. Up to them. Jurecki on with Ellis. Got a better exit out of turn 5 into turn 7. Yes, turn 6 is that little kink coming into this corner. Don't ask. I'm not even going to go on a rant about how that's not actually a corner. Up to turn 9 now they go. Jurecki will just miss the apex a little bit. Keeps them on track, though. He's definitely going to compromise the straight line. All going to stick the nose in. Oh, Mustang's got good brakes, though. I would have maybe have looked to try and sneak something in there, scare Ellis out of the line a little bit. But maybe coming onto the straight Jureki might look for something, or maybe Alice should throw him off a bit and jump into the pits. Doesn't want to give him that slipstream. Is certainly another alternative. What's your thoughts here, Lunchy? What would you be doing?
I'm in a Porsche, so I'd just be crying the whole time.
Ah, okay.
But if
I understand.
I was
yes.
in a Ferrari, noting what we talked about earlier with the aero wash, I'd probably be fairly happy if I was Jared Earls right now, to be honest.
Yeah, I mean, Jared Ellis has got the clean air, but I wouldn't want to be giving that slipstream to Jureki, especially in the Mustang. The corner law I'm talking about is the little kink up to the... oh, for goodness sake. He's tapped him and has actually spun himself. So nothing too much there, probably for the stewards to look at. He did go a bit deep, tried to save it. Oh, that's Brown at round. Stockton, try again. Yeah, I don't know what happened there. I don't know if he hit a curb too much. We'll probably get a bit of a better look at that one, sorry, in a minute once I get my words out. If you see where 222 is on the map law there, you see just that little kink where those little group of cars coming through. Apparently that's turn 6. I don't know why I would count as turn 6. Let's have a look. Stockton. Down at turn 1, you're braking it around the 100 metre and does so. And looked okay. I just lost the rear on the brakes by the looks of that. That's a tough one. At least there's no damage involved. Kept it out of the wall. So, good one overall for him. Down to turn 5. Here's what I'm talking about. Brian King looks like maybe she's had a bit of a spin there as well. So, not too much there. No damage. Yeah, tyres are dead, Bono. That does sound about right. But then somehow someone will pull a heap of time out. Stan Buskova, speaking of pulling time out, is 6 seconds ahead of Chris Taylor in the Mustang. T-Mac's not too far behind, still holding a steady gap to Chris Taylor. Spinazzi's falling back a little bit. Wells not too far off as well. Jerry's a little bit further back because he's fighting with Kumar, so it'll be another battle to keep an eye out on, especially during the pit stops if they're not quite with each other. Kumar just holding nicely. The Ferrari should fare well here, probably a little bit further into the race with the tyres. Of course, the Ferrari is pretty good on tyres. Not, I wouldn't say it's the best GT3 in ACC that's on its tyres. Certainly, probably one of the best ones for fuel. But you're probably looking at something like the Bentley or one of those for some tyre wear, better tyre wear. So Kumar just trying to keep within touching distance of Jerry down to turn 5. So there he goes, nice. Almost, you basically got a double apex there. Here's that kink at turn 6, which that's just not a turn, is it? It's just a curve. I wouldn't call that a turn. Up to turn 7 now. Use the curb on the inside. Get the car rotated. Don't use too much of the down the exit there, just like King did. That's a nasty one. Nicely. Apologise. That's not King. That's Lammerman or Atkinson from what I can see here. Kumar. Just getting the brake point nicely done. Touches a little bit of curve for that rotation again. And may even look to pit now if he's not really going to get into that slipstream of Jerry. Maybe just try and get some more consistent laps in. Not probably going to get clean air though. Here's George Cook fighting with Costa at the moment. They've both served their mandatory pit stop. Looking to the inside down at turn 4 here. Let's see how this is handled. And Costa let him through. I think he's realised maybe that Cook's got a bit more pace and it's just looking to not want to ruin the tyres too much. Nice livery there from Cook though. Ooh, a bit of a touch on the dirt. That's not going to help his tyres though. Overall, a bit of a sliding. Oh, goodness me. Is this giving you reminiscent flashbacks to driving the Porsche on normal temps there, Lunchy? Because that's what I think it looks like.
No, it's all in control. All in control. Steer with your feet, not with your hands.
You can smell the rubbish coming out of your mouth there.
Yes, a lot of experience. There's I think Winton's had a few moments and taken out a few of the polystyrene boards, as we did have our leader Stan Buskova's in the pits, and I'm not too sure how long he was stopped for. Actually, he's only just emerging from it now. I don't think that's I think that might be just a normal splash and dash. I was curious to see if Stan's pace was maybe reflected in him going at sort of alternate strategy of taking tyres, but I don't believe that is the case.
Unfortunately, Chris Taylor will probably have to find a new door sponsor after today's news. I believe Recaro have filed for bankruptcy,
Yes.
so
yeah.
Yes, they have.
he might need to pay the fuel bill with someone else this week.
I think GT World Challenge in general need a new title sponsor as well.
Yes, I think they will. There's been a lot of companies that have gone bankrupt or filed for administration this week. Recaro's gone bankrupt. Rex Airlines in Australia's gone into administration. Carl's Jr.'s gone into administration. One of our local breweries near where I live's gone into administration today. If you know Bilson's, anyone out there, you've probably seen them. They've gone into administration. So business is just, I don't know, no money. Get some new sponsors, people.
Subscribe to all our motivational streams here at OOR, bringing you the best and brightest of news around the world, and Hobbs.
Yes, that's right. And maybe at least Recaro, US and Japan are still good for now. That's good. Where's the Yao at the moment? It's in a good little spot getting... Oh, here's Ryan King. Just sneaking past Costa. Costa playing the safe game. It's not the worst game to play, actually, given the tyre wear that's probably
I was going to say that car looks a bit destroyed.
It does look a bit destroyed as well. Don't worry about the front being a little bit destroyed. It's just serving the mandatory pit stop same Jared Ellis. So drivers will certainly be looking to make some positions up in the second half of the race. Of course, we're looking to 14's round. It's unideal for George Cook. I don't know what he's doing there, but hopefully he hasn't munched the curb.
There's Cookie. Comes around, misses that one, maybe a smidge wide.
Good one.
And boing.
That is some bad sausage.
Love the old boinga sausage there.
There's your bingo word of the commentary. Bad sausage.
The worst part about a spin like that is the damage isn't too bad, but the road's so narrow you have to watch the whole grid just drive past you because you can't turn around.
Ignore my mic just having a spasm. It does that. Oh! Bit of a shoving, tapping, hit and run, whatever for Brown on Ellis. I wouldn't look too much into that. He did pull it up and Ellis has hit the dirt anyway, so I think he's going to get past cleanly. Brown opting not to repair the damage. Still doing well with that. Hopefully that doesn't come to haunt him a bit later in the race with the tyre wear.
I think I saw a cheeky headlight flash there from Jared Ellis.
Did see that, yeah. Bit of displeasure being emitted. As I said, our leader was just behind that pack, so I wonder if Chris Taylor will stick it out with the traffic, whether he's thinking that he has a chance at Stan Buskovas is another question. He did have a sizable gap. Curious to see if anyone has done a different strategy or not, or whether they're all playing the same deck of cards. As Richard Well gets a better run, the Audi washes out a little bit and is surely, I think, got to have a bit of an overlap into turn one. It's very deep from Wells on the brake, maybe too deep. And that looked a little bit more dramatic than maybe it was on the cameras there. And that was a little bit unnerving, to say the least, as well. This is just done his last stop, I imagine. Still, many of the leaders have elected not to stop just yet. I wonder if, doesn't. I think if you're fueled up from the start, it doesn't really matter when you pit. It's just a case of putting a few liters in, putting not necessarily 1 liter in, and that's all that matters to tick off the mandatory. So Kumar here just behind. I believe that is Zeri, the car ahead of him. So Zeri's really fallen back a little bit. Probably done the stopped. I should acknowledge that as well. no, I'm just still track position, and I'll still shut up as a result.
Some good little battles happening throughout the track here. It's kind of hard to keep tabs on them all, but the different pit stop strategies are really starting to sort themselves out.
Oh, Brown it down the inside of Costa. Oh, gonna have the run, but I dare say the McLaren, as soon as it's in slipstream, might come back. It didn't have a great exit, so maybe nothing to come back to. Of course, still has damage, so not too much. Might try and catch him with braking or something. Brown it's still got damage as well, and hit the curb and gone off the track. Ellis is trying to get in here. Gow's getting in here. Oh, that was wise from Ellis to back out of that one. I was concerned there was going to be an incident, but has pulled that one through and done well. You see Ellis is going to sneak up the inside here, I reckon. He wants to get past, wants to get up to Brown it as quickly as possible. And Gow's getting through as well. Costa knows he's not going to be able to fight those. So we'll hold that one up down to turn 5. Oh, Ellis gets on the curb, on the braking, on the dirt. Goes extremely wide of the apex, and now it's going to be in the clutch of Yao until they get to the straight.
Ooh, it was very late on the brake there from Yao. Nearly, I think, maybe giving a little kiss onto the back of the Ferrari, but yeah, so I'm not too sure, like, with some of these cars that have got quite extensive damage and are still, didn't elect to fix it at the stops, especially with Costa's McLaren with the wonky rear wing. If that's, if you've got that much damage, you're not really saving time by not fixing it, in my opinion.
It's also just miserable lapping with that much damage.
Yeah, you're kind of, you're blowing on an oil rig fire if your race has ended up in that position.
Well, stop go 10 for Rondinella. I'm going to take a punt and say that is from the stewards, because that's certainly not for speeding in the pit lane, and it's not a drive-through. That's big from the stewards. And the pens are going to start coming. You get a pen, and you get a pen, and you get a pen. So Rondinella being the one that is deemed to be an issue, maybe turned into the McLaren on that lap 1 incident. So tough one for him. Brown, it's got to stop go 30. That's yeah. Someone bring in Oprah, because holy. Here comes Kumar into the pits. Probably just going to take some fuel. It'll be interesting to see with Buskovas, I believe from what I've seen, has taken tyres. So maybe something more to come from this. If Taylor's not planning to take tyres, he might end up coming out ahead by some way of Buskovas if he's going to get something done here. Coming round, he's got no one really ahead of him in terms of track position. Fighting position, I should say. Directly, though, speaking of fighting positions, just trying to get past Costa probably should make this one easy. With Costa's damage, and probably wants to get this one done. Marsh has got a stop go 10 as well, which he's going to go into the pits and serve. So, and DT for Lim. Wow, dearie me.
Yeah, a bit weird. I'm seeing a 10-second penalty in the penalties channel for Hayden Marsh. It's just a 10-second penalty. It doesn't say if it's a stop go on here, but it was for ignoring blue flags. And haven't seen any penalties in respect to lap 1 as well. So I wonder if a few of those are going to come through eventually and clarify if they were for lap 1. There's definitely a few red boxes appearing on the screen, to say the least.
I believe Rondinella's was for lap 1.
It would appear that way. 5 seconds for Jared Ellis as well. So the stewards have sobered up again and bringing out the penalties with some force during what I would almost say is a crucial part of the race, where they're trying to save their tyres, make up the positions. Piper just getting past Fisher. Fisher hasn't pit yet, so no real threat there for Fisher needing to fight that one. So
yeah, the penalties
way around.
I'm just colourblind.
Yeah, penalties are coming through. Whether we'll see anyone, not too sure. But yeah, big sticks coming out from the stewards. And the drivers will couple it. We might end up seeing some more quali bans In the coming weeks, given the number of penalties being given and the severity of them as Piper forgets where the tarmac is, Kidman looking on Kranich. They're both fighting for position. Those two are yet to pit. Kranich just letting through, doesn't want to ruin his race. They're not in the same class, of course. So there we go. More stop-go 30s being handed out. My goodness, Oka's handing out all these stop-go 30s. Brown at still stop-go 30. Ellis with the 5 limb needs to serve that DT. Oh, I don't even know where to look.
Yep, this has still got quite a few drivers that have yet to pit so far, so I think they're kind of just eking it out all the way to the end, following their original strategy. They pit when they need to, not necessarily if they don't have to in that case. And surely that's going to happen here. Just got to be patient, keep it clean up those lines, and come into the box anyway because you got to drive through. 46.2 from Chris Taylor on the last lap. Which, yeah, I think I'm looking around. While the pros, they do 44s. They can do 44s at the start of their stint. Sometimes even 43s. I think generally you're looking at those mid 45s for race pace, if not a bit lower, a bit higher. But some of the top 10 to try and not destroy those tyres in the first 30 minutes. Unless you're in the Lexus.
It's okay, no one's silly enough in this split to take the Lexus.
In this split.
Yeah, I know.
Have to be a very special person to pick the Lexus.
You would be. I'm not one of them, don't worry. Brown at served his stop go 30.
No.
That's
Warner coming through. And I think Brownet's been...
Red. Yay.
Yay. Diogo Gregor going by. I believe he had a penalty as well when he had to do one of his mandatory as Kumar here all the way on the back of Zeri. Both of them have done their stops, and it's just as close as when they boxed before the stops as well. But yep, big ass to get past that Ford, especially around here. We'll be hoping he's not look after those tyres in the last 15 minutes and will fall off the cliff like he is on a set of Pirelli F1 tyres. So we got Spinazzi in the pits as well. Who was not too sure where he was in relative to Zeri and Kumar. That would be interesting to see. We saw Wells had a little bit of a moment with a back marker and lost the position to Spinazzi, but it looks like he's fallen back now behind Kumar and Zeri as well, which we've unfortunately missed. So, you know, a little bit what could have been for Richard Wells, but still a top 10 finish, well into the top 10 as well, I think, by this stakes. It's still to be a very, very good result.
Here we go. Atkinson on Fisher. Atkinson has done absolutely brilliantly. He started last in this race around P37, P38. He's up to P12 and still got potentially more positions to gain as Fisher gets out of his way. It's probably what Atkinson was half looking for, but might have also wanted the slipstream. So he'll crack on up to P11 now as Fisher jumps into the pits to serve. He is mandatory. Dennis Warner at the moment just following along with Brownett after the stop go 30 he was given, who's following along with George Cook. So a nice little three-way battle going on here. Hopefully Warner might be able to make something of this. Even though Brownett has gotten past him, he might look to fight back if he can.
Yeah, good race from Atkinson. Was one of the big, paddle receivers from Kota, and did have a qualifying ban for this race, hence why he started at the back. But done a good job to recover and potentially, obviously, learn from the mistakes, and had a clean race so far. There's a Brownet seesawing at the wheel. I think we've seen a bit too much of Brownet. The car's, no Perez gets really close to the back of Cook. It'll be absolutely teetering on his seat. I think no offense to Brownet, but that car's featured a lot, and not necessarily all for the right reasons throughout this broadcast, as he looks to have a run on George Cook. But we hear now Kumar, who has a run on the Mustang, but the Mustang doesn't give a sod and is coming at it. Doesn't really matter whether he's gaining or not, which he isn't.
Mustang says no.
Ooh, one JP, just pointing out as well.
Yeah,
Busquets is stuck behind Spinazzi, which is
so did he take
beyond
tires?
unideal. He would have taken tyres to be behind Spinazzi, and I reckon Jerry's probably taken tyres as well. Given the fact that I reckon a lot of them probably taken tyres thinking that they're going to chew through them, which they will, but I mean that's 26 and a bit seconds you're losing to those that don't take the tyres. And from what I was calculating before the race, you can't make up unless you 2 seconds a lap faster. You're not going to be able to make up 26 seconds in half an hour or 20 minutes or whatever. So
for me, that's a decision on how comfortable I feel with the car.
Yeah,
this rather than, if they feel more comfortable to do that, then all power to them. But it's a big ask to kind of recover 26 seconds. And I was a little bit surprised as we got bumped out in the pits as well. Stan using every bit of the exit, and he's looking to have a bit of a run here at the Mustang. The GTR has top end when it's got a draft and is coming alongside the Mustang, but barely across. Has Spinazzi got it stopped in time? Yes, he has. He's got it stopped adequately. Will be enough for a switchback. Is there an overlap from Standard space given as well? And surely if he's got fresh tires, he's going to have a much better grip and hold the inside line, as Spinazzi does a good job. He went wide but still kept it relatively in check as well. There's a good battle there and a good pass from Stan Buskovas.
I guess the problem if you decide to take tyres here, you still have to work your way through traffic and the other cars that go longer. So I think if it was a hot lap competition, I would definitely take tyres, but I think only fuel is the way to go.
And that's a thing, Stan's in a car which does have a straight line advantage, and granted it was against a car which was not necessarily a slow car either, but even with worn tires, that was far from a simple clean pass and overtake. He was behind him for a few laps as well. It's risky with that strategy. Going to be interesting. I think a lot of people, as I said before, will be learning from this when it comes. Whether there is split green, no, as Kumar has hit the back of Zeri and spun him around, and that's unfortunately that battle comes to a head, and it is surely going to head in the form of a penalty, surely, for Kumar, but we'll leave that to the stewards. Oh dear, it's not. It wasn't Mitchell Hobbs. I'll take that one. Definitely didn't call any other incidents before.
Nope. Don't know what you're talking about. Let's have a look. Kumar. Ooh, that's okay.
One.
That's on Kumar, but I think that's a bit rough for him because he just didn't quite read the speed of Jerry there, because he was a little bit slower. But
Zeri had a bit of a narrow inside line. Maybe he was just trying to half defend, but it was a bad read, to say the least.
Yeah, bit of a bad read of the rear end from the Porsche there. Wasn't Yau's fault. The car just said, no, I don't want to have a rear end anymore. The tyres, Bub now, stop, go 30, speeding in pit lane. This is unideal. That's not...
JC was deputising for it?
Yeah, look, I don't know. Car 51 is around on the exit of that turn 7-8 complex, which is, not ideal. 27.5
Mercedes.
It is a Mercedes, still just struggling along a bit, needs to get going. Drivers have to be avoiding them. And wow, the track's gone down to 1 degree, everybody. That's going to make a world of a difference.
Yeah, get your raincoats out. It is cooling down sufficiently here as we see what happened to the Mercedes of Cully and leader going side by side. I believe that was Winton in the Porsche, but it looks like it's going to be an incident on his own. He kind of has the car off, a bit of a distraction potentially, and noses it into the tyre wall. Oh dear, bit on his own, but definitely not unforced.
I think that was a bit of target fixation there by the Merc. Saw the other car sitting there and put a bit too much right foot and into the wall. I have definitely done that at least once in practice.
Yeah, not done it in ACC, but I've done it with, let's say, single, like open wheel cars at this track, which don't have the TC, which saves you quite a bit as it goes off camber at this track. But shout out to Wesley Yao. He's done a very good job. I think we've covered that the Porsche is less than ideal as a race car in these temps on one set of tires thoroughly in this broadcast. But doing a good job out there on P13 right now, within 4 tenths of Ellis, who has a 5-second penalty. So all he needs to really do, unless he's being held up, is just stick with Ellis and just go with him at this rate. I'm doing a very good job. I believe he also streams as well, so shout out to him. Ooh, he has to maybe check him a bit. I think it's Ellis had a moment there at turn 2.
Chris Taylor in pits, so it'll be interesting to see where he comes out.
Yeah, he's going to need to look for something pretty special here. Where is Buskovich, number 29? Oh, wow, Taylor's going to come out a long way ahead. Definitely a splash and dash for Taylor. That's exactly what I would have done. And maybe Taylor... I speak, and there's another car off at turn 7-8. What the bloody hell's going on?
I believe that is Lloyd, the Audi, who's been at odds with that car and this track, to say the least. There's a lead goes to car 11 for now in the form of T-Mac. Be interesting to see where he comes out. I imagine also a splash and dasher, because if you're going to change tires now, why would you do it 5 minutes to go? That's for sure. And we shall see. Got Fisher closing it, maybe on the back of Stockton.
Yes, there you go, JP. Don't take tyres. Yes.
I had a feeling.
Had a feeling, but yeah.
Buskovich was maybe quite... No discredit to Stan.
No.
We've seen how quick Taylor was, and he was, gapping Taylor noticeably. If he was taking tyres, he boxed pretty much on the 30-minute mark. So he probably was running half the fuel load of Taylor as well, which definitely would have given him the pace advantage. And not to say that Stan isn't quick, but he was gapping Taylor as well. It's...
Yeah.
The mystery has been solved. It was Colonel Buskovich in the living room with the Nissan.
There's definitely a part of me that's quite sad that taking tyres isn't going to work, because I'm not looking forward to trying to save tyres for a whole 60-minute stint.
Having driven the GTI here, I completely respect his decision to take tyres as well. It is probably one of the worst cars on tyres in general, and obviously here as well. Hopefully Yao recognises the blue flags of that was T-Mac behind him and lets him go, which I think he has done adequately. But still a bit of a fight here as Costa is not able to escape our screens at all. Still ever present around with Greco and Rondinella, and I believe Sean Bubnap. Real shame for Sean Bubnap. You've got that penalty. It's really dropped him back. He was well in the top 10 or around the top 10. And it's dropped all the way back into P21.
So we're going to come on to the penultimate lap here at Barcelona, as a person currently sitting provisionally P1 who hadn't pitted has finally jumped into the pits. So
Drive through for Kumar.
Drive through for Kumar. That is not ideal. So he'll drop down the order quite a way, I suspect.
That is for the collision when he hit the back of Zeri. So yeah, dim views taken by stewards, as was expected after last week. And to be honest, after the first 5 seconds of this race, to say the least.
Yeah. Busquets is only 6.1 off Taylor, so that's probably about the margin I'd have expected, given that he took tyres. He did get caught up in traffic, though, with the Spinazzi side. Expected probably have been a little bit closer, given the pace he was doing, probably around maybe 3 or 4 seconds off, so not a huge difference. Fish is getting a little bit blocked by Stockton almost there. They're in two different classes, of course, though, so maybe something more to be had from Fisher's side. Maybe try and fake Stockton out a little bit. Stockton got a little bit deep on the brakes. They've only got 2 more laps to go on their side, so they could slow down and let Taylor go past if they want to do one more, but that's not the play here. They're both playing for P15, and Stockton does not want to let this one in, even though it is for separate classes, so have to keep an eye in on this. Fisher didn't get the greatest exit out of turn 10. 9, try again. This is turn 10 here. Stockton a little bit deep, pulls it up. Fisher going for that nice tight line on the apex. Wants that good exit. Oh, the tyres really starting to play a little factor here. Lucky for them, not too many laps to go, only 2. And they've got the leader behind, so maybe that might help them a little bit.
Leader's going to have a go around again.
Yeah, leader will be going around again. Taylor's still got 1 more lap to go in this race. Kumar's got to serve that drive through. There's 5, 10, 15, 30 and 10 seconds worth of pens down the leaderboard there. It's a lovely split of red. Busquets is here. What's happened? McDonald's gone ahead.
Yeah, so
that's
McDonald
that's McDonald who pit, of course.
Yeah, and has come out just ahead of the team, and it'll be this lap to make a difference, and I'm sure Ronaldo will not want to be any part of that, and hopefully it will give way, but it's going to be a big ask for Stan to catch, and those tyres, they're fresher than Team Max, but they're still half an hour old, and that pretty much equates to 1 hour of Ferrari tyres. Is half an hour GTR tyres, to be honest. So yes, we'll see what can happen, but a bit wide there from T-Mac as well. He's going to be giving everything. He's going to be fueling the fire for Stan. The leader is only just a bit ahead of him, so it will be this lap and only this lap, and hopefully we'll not have a deciding, anything other than clean racing, for the love of Christ. But he's wide from T-Mac as well. It's going to give Stan all and more fuel and fire to get motivated here, coming around turn 9 with a short blast down the straight. The Lloyd Audi hopefully stays out of the way. He ducks out as Stan is looking at the inside, but not far enough ahead. And he's gonna a bit right from T-Mac, and he's along side by side. There's touch and touch again. The nose is gonna be kept inside. No, come on!
Yeah, come on, people. Seriously, this is getting ridiculous. Open your eyes, people. Come on. That was a bit of a push and shove, and then it's just okay.
Yeah. Apologise for the tones
Taylor.
I got up to, but well done to Chris Taylor.
Well done, Chris. That's
and the rest of Split Yellow can go in the bin.
Well done. T-Mac P2 provisionally at the moment. Busquets, I believe, will be behind Spinazzi. Yeah, that's one for Spinazzi. We'll see what happens with the positions of Busquets and McDonald. Definitely a post-race one there for the stewards. Wells, well done. Maybe a silver promotion coming with the performances he's been having. Takes the Pro-Am win here. Kumar didn't bother serving that drive-through. He's going to get 30 seconds for him, so he's going to drop probably not too far down the order, given the other penalties that are there. Loz, P7, great effort's going to go up in position. Jerry as well, the same. Piper
not too far behind, should get a position out of this one as well. So a great effort from all these silver drivers. Atkinson, what an effort, started last and goes up to P10, will end up being P9 with that penalty from Kumar. That is solid effort. King, after a bit of a tough one, tough battle with the Loz, going to come across P11. It's a nice, solid effort there. Alice here, fighting with Yao Yao, will take the position with that 5 second that Alice does have. Jurecki's not too far behind. He's got a 10 second as well there, but will stick where he is because Stockton is quite a number behind. And Fisher is right near Nicholson as well. So there's going to be maybe some battles to the line here at the final chicane. You can see Stockton coming round. I think he'll hold off Fisher, and Nicholson's dropped back quite a long way from the last bit. Maybe he's had a bit of an incident. Coming round, Chai Fisher's going to take the AM win here and stick it P15. No positions will be gained, and Andrew Nicholson comes across the line for P16.
Yes. Yeah. Very disappointing end for the most part to that race. I thought we would escape a lot of the drama of Kota, but unfortunately it isn't the case. But we will run through the official standings of Chris Taylor takes the win from Spinaze and Buscovas, as T-Mac, I believe, has gone a 15-second penalty, much like at the end of race 1 at Kota, involved in a decisive incident in the closing laps. Silver class headed up by Buscovas, a very good drive from him, and the contra strategy did make it work for the most part, followed by Loz in P2 and Zeri for P3 in silver class. In Pro Am, headed up by Wells, excellent drive from the Ferrari driver, followed by Atkinson as well from the back of the grid, and King in the other McLaren for P3 in Am. Fisher, Marsh, and Lammerman takes up the top 3 of the Am class, and that will set us done for Split Yellows Barcelona round 2. Another less than optimal racing round from in general. And yes, race directors, stewards on suicide alert at this rate, to say the least.
Yeah, it's not going to be.
I think it's
fun for them.
I think it's unfortunate for the drivers that did actually race well there, that they've been overshadowed by the chaos. So
Yeah.
well done to those racers who did respect the rule book.
Absolutely.
I would say half the grid has, well, maybe more than half the grid has done quite well today, considering the
absolutely.
tyre death.
Oh,
Yep.
yeah. Big time.
We will wrap up as we have a short interlude while we go to Split Green, which will be going into qualifying very shortly, but I'll leave it with you two, and thank you for joining me, Mr. Mitch Hobbs, Mr. Chris Murphy. Thank you very much. What were your highlights or driver of the days?
Oh, that's a tough one. I think I'm going to give my drive of the day to Atkinson. That was a fantastic drive. Second in Pro-Am overall in that race. Started last, P38, and jumped up to P9 after penalty. So that is a mega F from him. One of those drivers that just put his head down and just kept consistent, and that's exactly what we're looking for.
It's a tough one for me, but I am inclined to give it to Wells, considering the damage he had early and how he stuck it out and ended up in 5th.
Yeah, respectable choice. And I'll give it to Arno Loz. And we'll close that out and we will go to Split Green. Thank you, lads. And I'll be joining you. Me and Alexis Bryant will be taking up Split Green in a short while.
No worries. Hope everyone enjoyed Split Yellow. Looking forward to Split Green.
Thank you. Thank you.
Welcome back to Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. We are here now for Split Green after what was a very, very eventful Split Yellow race. And joining me from the previous race in the comms was Cameron Thistlethwaite. What did you think of that overall, Cam?
Boring race. Nothing happened.
Yeah.
Yep, absolute snooze fest. Snooze fest from the driver's standards. But yes, unfortunately, I echo the sentiments of our resident lunch bag from the previous split. I feel bad for those who did drive very well and cleanly. It was a little bit overshadowed with all the flotsam and jetsam. The penalties, the incidents at the start, 5 meters, yada, 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 and then just to round it off, a battle for the podium at the end being unnecessarily ended poorly, to say the least. Not happy. But overall, we won't let that tarnish.
Yeah, I mean, what I will say after all of that is we have to give a massive hats off to the stewarding team that we have here at Octane Online Racing. They put in a massive shift every race that they do, and sometimes you get some really, really tough ones, like as we just saw before with quite a few incidents. Of course, that's always going to happen in racing. It is a part of it after all. It's just about learning from it, and that's really what a lot of the drivers will hopefully be doing. Fingers crossed we get a much cleaner split green here as we are running into qualifying.
Yep. And so we'll have another 15 minutes of qualification to make up the grid. No, obviously 60-minute race, and so no, anything special about the quali. As simple as go out, do your best times. Obviously pretty toasty out there. I imagine it's probably mid-30 track temps like we had in Split Yellow, as it's a little bit earlier in the day, not the peak temperatures that we'll get for the race, and but still be quite warm. I think we'll see a lot of drivers do laps, do maybe 1, 2, maybe even 3 laps, and then just return to garage, get a fresh set of boots, because they are getting their money's worth around this track and do not really hold up for that peak qualifying grip.
Yeah, that's it. With how hot the track temperatures have been so far, and also how many long corners you have here at the Circuit de Barcelona Catalunya, the tires take an absolute beating. So it's been very, very interesting watching. As we see Brad Cook goes to the top with a 44 flat. We'll see what the others have to contend with it. Hignett 9/10 down. There in the Aston Martin. Rad there 1.8 seconds behind that. So a very, very solid time from Brad Cook so far.
Yeah. Dare say the 43s are a pretty safe bet. We did see 43s in Split Yellow as well. Probably at most into the maybe mid, obviously high 43s, probably even mid 43s, because frankly in the practice server I saw people doing high to mid 43s even in 44 degree tracks. So if it's 35 degree tracks now, granted there's not a lot of less overall time in the session, I'm sure it can be done, especially from the caliber of the drivers in the split as well. We've got Cook, we've got Hignett, like mentioned, and definitely a good string of very competitive drivers.
Oh, absolutely. As you said, the caliber of drivers in this split and across all splits is very, very top shelf, as we look on with Naim there in P25, currently on their first flying lap. The 333 McLaren, beautiful livery. Always have some fantastic liveries to look at across the field, and hopefully we have a few more this round. I know there were quite a few drivers that missed out on submitting liveries last time out at Circuit of the Americas, but should have a bit more variety this time around here in Barcelona as Naim enters the final sector. A little bit wide through 13 now. 14, 15 takes it nice and gently, and all over the sausage curb on the exit, and should come across the line very, very soon. Cook has just gone faster, and now Naim straight to the top of 43.6. That's a really, really fast time from the Pro-Am.
Yeah, was going to say, Naim is definitely a pretty quick driver out there as Retrudy completes his lap and then finds the wall as he looks to get it stopped as quickly as possible and sent back to the garage for a fresh set of boots. Tim Purcell here, our silver class leader for this split, coming to complete his lap 6/10 up on his 45.5, coming into the chicane. Big gains, obviously had a pretty rough previous best at the track at the chicane. Coming around the last sector, 1 second up should put him well into that maybe top 5 even as he goes up to P6. I stand corrected, but yes, excellent time from Naim. We are going to say that name has been synonymous with a few very competitive time to beat, or a little bit wide there from Tonkin as invalidated. Hopefully hasn't invalidated his next lap as well, as a double jeopardy will harm him and returns to garage anyway, I believe, as he pulls off.
Yeah, I had a feeling it could have invalidated next time, but yeah, that is excellent from Naim as we now watch on with Hill currently sitting P9, 9/10 off of Naim's fastest time so far, and has found 2 and a bit tenths in the first sector and a half. It's now coming up to the very, very fast turn 9, very, very tricky turn 9. Gets the apex really nicely. How much curb on the exit? All the curb. That was a very good run from the Mosaic Motorsports driver.
Yep, and a very fetching livery as well. But it looks like he is catching a car up ahead, in Aston Martin, and that car looks to be on a valid lap. And unfortunately, might cost Hill a few tenths here and there in the Aston Martin. But he is valid to be there, as Naim, I believe, has gone and done a 43.4. So wow, the times are really coming down here, and as Hill right on the back of the Aston Martin, no closer than he wants to, but thankfully hasn't really cost much time. Maybe like lost a few tenths in terms of just being a distraction, and goes up into P5. Crazy that a 44.3 is almost a second off pole, when that is a very respectable time still.
Yeah, absolutely. Naim has stretched his dominance out over Cook and the rest of the field. 4 tenths down to Cook and a second down to what is essentially P7 at the moment, as Vintner just scrapes into the top 10 for now with a 144.6. So we now jump on board with Taufik.
Yep. Nice to see Taufik in a new livery. He was kind of running that sort of what I called a bit of a Christmas livery, the sort of green, the reds, and the blacks of the, I believe, a Spa 24 livery that they've run since that race last year, and gotten a fresh set of paint in form of a little bluey sharky boy.
Yes.
Going well so far. Dead set even on his delta.
Yeah, just lost a little bit of time going through 8 and 9. It can be quite tricky going through those corners, because it's a fairly well-rounded circuit, used a lot for testing, especially in the Formula One world. But yeah, the characteristics tend to line themselves up for a fairly balanced sort of setup, as he's finding a lot of time in this final sector, but gets loose coming out of turn 13. But that was a great run through the chicane. Not quite so good on the exit. May have used a little bit more curb on his previous run, and he's going to come up to the line. He's not going to improve his position, but he's going to improve his time by 0.05 of a second. So stays in P3 for now, but we'll see how that goes as we now jump on board with Jacob Weatherburn in the beautiful Pixel Racers livery.
Yep, Yoda here, affectionately known as, coming through that turn 13, which I think, Taufik maybe just had a little bit too much of a clip on the curb and got a little bit of a bounce, which hurt the momentum. But the Mustang goes well through the chicane, just about maybe a smidge or 3 tenths up, which will put him up to P9 with a 44.497. Very respectable time, but still crazy. That's maybe just gets you a top 10 now. I felt very happy with my times, I think I mentioned already, and thought that's surely going to be a safe top 10, but proving not to be the case. If anything, these splits to go by. Yeah,
and if JC's in the chat, that was an equal time to Herd, so that never happens. As we watch, right, he lost a lot of time in that final sector, very, very loose in that Mustang, and he's going to have to go again. Yeah, you can see 1.082 Herd and Weatherburn away from Naim out front. So, yep, JC, get the bingo card out. Although I think Herd might just be ready to break free from the Weatherburn curse and jump up closer to Hill, and does so up to P7, 400th behind Hill and 9/10 behind Nime.
Yep, saw Nolan Hode, so I believe it was a car, a Mercedes spun in the background there. But Nolan Hode was doing very respectable times in the Porsche in the practice server, along with a lot of drivers. And noticeably, I don't really jump into practice servers too often, but it was very populated. I think people knowing with the temps and everything like that. Barcelona, I think not the most favored track in general for most people's repertoires. But yeah, a lot of people in the practice server, and Hope was doing very respectable times there, as were quite many people. As we see Jay Carter here coming around for a lot of speed being taken, not necessarily helping his lines too much, and yeah, there's hemorrhage top 2 temps at least in that last chicane. Goes up by 1 position, but knows he's surely got a lot of time in that lap based on that final performance. As Hode here did go ahead of Purcell on the last lap, but is still stuck actually behind Purcell on track, and whether or not he's being impeded, I'm not too certain. He is on a valid, and Purcell, according to the track map, is on an invalid, but that has proved to be not necessarily reliable in recent times.
Yeah, it doesn't seem to be hampering him too much, although he does get out of the way there, does Purcell, but this is a very solid time from Hode. It's the Pro-Ams really showing up the pros and the silver class drivers in this session so far. Hode, brilliant run through the final chicane, does lose a little bit on the exit, but will come up to the line and should move up into P5 ahead of Benjamin Hicknett, which would be massive. Look at that. Got a Pro-Am in the lead,
Great
silver class in P4 and the Pro-Am in P5, as Tonkin now moves up into P7 in the 69. Nice. Lamborghini.
Yeah, for a lot of these splits, I've seen the midfield, whether or not we can all debate to the world implodes on itself of who should be what class, but the mid pack of most of these splits has really closed up. Like, there's a lot of people doing very good times, like even in the mid part of the field, and it's a little bit scary, not gonna lie. I feel like maybe I'm just washed, and maybe I shouldn't have the pro tag and should take a page out of JC's book and self-demote myself back to silver to make myself feel better. But yeah, mid pack's really strong across a lot of these splits, as we obviously we do have our fast esports drivers at the top as well, as we've known and loved across many years and many seasons. But yeah, the mid packs are there's a lot of new blood out there looking to prove themselves.
Yeah, and I think that's just a testament to the format that we have here in the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series. It's been going on for a very long time, and you'll see quite a few drivers who have been here for a while and may have been lower down in the categories before really find their footing. I mean, I know back when Connor Hind originally joined, he was sort of, lingering in the AM and Pro-Am class, and then very quickly found his way right to the top, even winning the split last season as well. So you may be quite surprised to see just how quickly these drivers can evolve, as we look on at Albert, who equally can be quite fast on his day.
I was gonna say prime candidate in case maybe not showing as much speed as he would like, but the Mercedes not necessarily too favored, even with the custom BOP, as Mercedes doesn't look too hot around here. Fercolini, we know and love, especially in his sort of getting iconic livery right now, as he's run it for several seasons on the 992. Coming around the last corner, a little bit of a gains, about 1.5, losing it a little bit. Should put him ahead of King, maybe even Smith, a little bit wide on exit as well. And yeah, it's really close still. As I said, even a 10th gets you a couple of positions. That's that's quite a thing to happen, and we take it very much for granted.
Yes, and here we have Nime. I don't think he's going to improve, but he's still 4/10 clear of Cook in the Mustang, and you'd say red hot favorite for pole here, as here is Cook coming across the line. It's not going to be enough. 3/10 off of Nime, and that's Cook's qualifying session done. What does Hignett have? He's about 2/10 up. That could push him up ahead of Taufik, but he's lost a lot of time coming out of turn 12. Now into Europe car 13, final chicane. Oh, gets a bit loose in the Aston Martin and loses a lot of time on the exit. He might still move ahead. Nah, he's lost too much time now, so P5 will be as good as it gets for Hignett. Tonkin doesn't look like he's going to find anything. Here is Albert, who's a bit further down. He's looking for just any positional improvements, and at the moment, the 10th would move him up one more position. If he can find a little bit more time in the final chicane, move up a little bit more, but he's very, very tentative, and that's lost him all the time. He got spooked by the McLaren ahead of him, and he's now going to be resigned to P17 at best.
Yeah, unfortunately, I think Albert was on for a good at least 2 or 3 tenths there. As Mickley, do apologize for your the McLaren goes up into the P21 as Digby in the Lexus here, lovely Mountain Dew livery, does improve as well. Taufik doesn't improve, comes in for a practice pit stop, which everyone will need to do as we have one mandatory stop for fuel, no fixed fueling rate. So what you put in is all it's gonna count for unless you take your tires.
Yes, and that will be the question. Who will take the tyres in this one? Because we saw a few drivers take the tyres in the last race, particularly Stan Piskovas there, who had a great pace towards the end of the race, but had to make moves towards the end, which unfortunately undid him with the incident with T-Mac late on. But yeah, it'll be very interesting to see what these drivers do. I think the ones that are further up the front, so Naim, Cook, Taufik, Vu, and maybe even Hignett, will look at just going about their race staying out as long as possible and coming in just for a splash and dash. Someone like Hode, Tonkin, or Hill, they're probably going to be the ones that will look at the tyre stop to try and gain that pace towards the end of the race.
Absolutely. As we will run through the grid, it's obviously Naim from Cook, Taufik, and Vu make up the second row of the grid. Hignett and Hode make up P5 and P6 with the Aston and Porsche. Tonkin and Hill with the Lambo and Ferrari, respectively, for P7 and 8. Purcell and Yoda getting into that top 10 for the top 10 of the grid. Wittner in the BMW, as we've come to know him, and Jay King in the other 222 Ford Mustang. JC or Jay Carter, John Carter, Benjamin Cardo will shove that one in as well, followed by Fercolini in P14. D Smith and D King make up P15 and P16. Chris Albert in a Mercedes, one to watch for the race. I think we didn't see the best from him in qualifying, followed by M Lee with a very fetching livery in P18. Stimson in the other Mercedes, P19, followed by J Rad for the 23 car on P20. McLeod in P21 for the McLaren, followed by Ivan Mulyono. That's a new name for me, that's for damn short. And Pascal Armstrong in the Lamborghini, doing a very good job, I believe, to be our top AM in P23, followed by D. Keane and B. Pauly for P24 and 25. Foxtrot and Rando for 26 and 27. Digby in our Lexus in P28, followed by Wright in the Mustang in 27. Matthews for the Porsche in 64, followed by Austin for the Pit Viper Tides Aston Martin. 227 of Mercedes is Zikri, followed by Ning Chan in the 30. Lawson and Beaton make up P34 and P35, followed by the Ferrari of Barker and Ricciuti, who make up the back row of the grid. Not ones we expected, but I think maybe the either latecomers. I think I'm not too sure if we had any quali bans for this split, but I think Barker was on the receiving end of a penalty for maybe this race. I'm not too certain. We'll need a citation needed on that one.
Well,
as we sorry to interrupt, but we'll say John Sneakers with 20 gifted Octane Online Racing memberships in the chat. Thank you very much, John. Make sure to thank him in the chat as well, as a lovely gift by John Sneakers. Thank you very much, sir.
Yeah, thank you very much, John. I mean, you missed me, but that's fine. You've given 20 to others, and that is fantastic. Showing
where's our bribe?
Yeah, exactly. Come on. But aren't you meant to bribe the commentators to force us to curse someone?
We're the most important here.
Yes, of course. But no, in all seriousness, thank you very much, John. It Means a lot to the Octane Online Racing community and everyone here tonight. Might just say, massive field we've got here, 37 drivers. That is excellent stuff from Split Green.
Yeah, big turnouts across a lot of the splits, though, have to be said. Split yellow and I believe split red and blue are locked out in terms of max entries as well, as they were last week. So yeah, big, lots of signups. Great to see a lot of rookie promotions as well. Great to see everyone wanting to drive here in this great series.
Yeah, absolutely. And did you have any predictions for this one, Cam?
I'm scared to say anything after split yellow, to be honest.
Still traumatized after the split yellow race.
Yeah, not too sure on how the McLaren lowers. I have been practicing the McLaren, but I'm not sure, whether it was bad at Kota down the straight, and I think Naim is gonna have to really watch his mirrors at this race start for Cook in the Mustang. And I think Cook might know it. I think if he's seeing that pace from Naim, I think he'll want to be ahead and control it as much as he can, because we know, we saw it's not the easiest place to overtake, as we saw from Split Yellow. A lot of difficult places, but if you've got a great big stonking engine and some good K's down the straight, it makes it a damn sight easier. As we go double file through the chicane, which jumbles them up a little bit, it will be a very long pull from the race, from the starting line to turn 1. But I will leave it to you, Alexis, to take this start.
Thank you, Cam. So it's Naim from Cook, Taufik, Vu, Hignett, Hode, Tonkin Hill, Purcell, and Weatherburn, your top 10 to start off what will be a 37 grid here as we are underway. Towards the back, they were very, very late getting onto the back of the field. Thankfully, there's been no contact for the back, although there's 3, 4 wide happening, even 5 wide for the back. And now here's Cook around the outside of Naim into turn 1 and 2. And I think Cook might have got it. No, Naim's still got the insides. Around goes the Mustang there, and there's cars into the wall. And will we see a safety car there? But Naim's managed to hold on. That's really great defending there. Still defending into Repsol corner and manages to hold on to P1 now as Taufik attacks Cook into turn 5. Cook manages to hold off, so he stays in P2, but further back, still action happening everywhere as the 212 is around at Repsol corner and lets the whole field go before restarting again. But overall, not a terrible start there for Split Green, as our order is still Naim, Cook, Taufik. Hignett's moved ahead of Vu, then Hill, Tonkin, Hode, Purcell, and Weatherburn.
Yep, best race start we've seen of the season, I think, to be honest, so far. But not saying that's much. But outstanding driving from Cook and Naim, respectively, going side by side into turn 1, 2, and almost 3. But as the inside line becomes the favored line for turn 3, Naim did regain his advantage and secured his P1, as Cook had to, maybe defend in somewhat into turn 5 from Taufik, as Taufik already in the pits on a decisive stop. Maybe going for an early splash and dash, get clean air and go on the strategy, but that's risky. If it is a splash and dash, he's going to come out so much in the field. Granted, a lot of it will come blasting past now, but it's a short stop for a splash and dash, and I think he's already moving again, so the field still hasn't even completely overtaken him, and he's already rolling again as well. It could be decisive, but he's got so much traffic to negotiate as well. But I love it. I love the decisive strategy here from Taufik.
So we take a look at the race start replay.
Good start from Naim. Good job.
Yeah, excellent start as we look at the kerfuffle further behind. We're focused on the 24 here, the Shelby power car. As you can see further back here, there's the Mustang in the cat livery getting turned around. Very, very unfortunate there as we look on with one of our debutantes here in Ivan Miliono, the number 78. We'll have a look what happened through here.
Yeah, the cat Mustang. Yeah, hard to really say who it was, and I think it was just a bit of a secondary collision, maybe an isolated incident. that was nearly took out another car as well. Oh, as Tim Purcell nearly goes into the McLaren ahead, whether that was him just putting a move on Hode, which I believe it was the case based on the timing board, takes a few seconds to update, who now is Hode is now under threat from Weberburn a little bit, and we'll be watching his mirrors come to straight as well. As I think Purcell was lucky he didn't go into the McLaren of Vu, but Hode, you're in trouble. You're in real trouble, real big trouble now, as Naeem, our race leader, does the fastest lap of a 44.7. I dare say that will probably be the fastest lap for this race as the times will come down. But now Weberburn, who was looking to maybe threaten the Porsche, is now going to be threatened by the fellow Mustang of King in the shell colors. Gets its break. They come side by side into turn one. Space given, racing room has been respected, and we love to see it as it comes out ahead of Weberburn. A good effort there from King, and let's Hode off the hook.
Yeah, it was good racing there between Weberburn and King. Weberburn managing to hold that outside line as we see Purcell just get very, very loose further up, and now putting a lot of pressure onto Danny Vu as Danny Vu has the inside, but you got Purcell trying to make the way around the outside, and it gets shoveled wide a little bit. That's fair racing, and right now they're really tussling. Vu doesn't have a lot of pace. I wouldn't be surprised if he's running a high fuel load and Purcell is running a lower fuel load looking to change tires. But meanwhile, further back, it does look like, oh, the 67's gone around. So 67, not
right.
Oh, right's further back. So I believe last week he also struggled in the Mustang, and having more issues today as more carnage. The 30 and the 77 have slowed down a fair bit as well. 37, I should say, sorry, have slowed down a bit as well. As now here comes Purcell up the inside of turn 13, if you don't mind. That's a hell of a move. And meanwhile, Hode further back has been absolutely mugged by about 1 million cars there. Weberburn, King, and it looks like Wittner also got through as well.
Yeah, it's been a massive mugging as Jared King here now also getting another good run off the last corner on Weberburn. Weberburn might be a little bit fuel laden. I have to say, like, the differing in speed and the way that these drivers are just attacking us. We're almost 3 wide in the background as Hode is under threat. He's got 2 cars on the side. It's 3 wide, and unfortunately there's contact given, and somehow they're still all straight. That is incredible. But Jay Carter is going to come out on top of this one, but surely one for the stewards as well, as Chris Albert there in the Mercedes gets ahead of Hode and Furcalini. Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear. It's crazy. Yeah, I think Vu is definitely probably fuel laden or trying to be conservative, and it's just under attack, whether people are just pushing harder than they should have been, or they are planning to take tires late in the race and we've got half the fuel and we've just got that racy instinct, and they can push because that's the strategy they've called for.
Yeah, that's it, as we see Stimpson up the inside of King and gets through on King in the Aston Martin. Now, King under a lot of pressure from Pascal Armstrong. He's up 8 positions, if you don't mind. That's a brilliant start from the AM-class driver. Digby also making his way up there in the Lexus. So plenty of great starts from the AMs here, although there have been a few pit stops in this race very, very early. As now, look at that battling between Vu, Weberburn, and King. I think Weberburn going up the inside as Pascal Armstrong has well and truly outbroken himself. How has he not made contact with anyone?
A panic evasion, if anything, as to see Jared King. Yeah, there was a threatening Weberburn, and it looked like Weberburn was maybe trying to get past Vu at the same time, as Vu is now falling into the clutches of Wittner, as well as Tim Purcell races off into clean air at the ahead. Hopefully room given there for Wittner. Yeah, gets around the outside, and JC looking to pounce as well, as Vu just keeps going backwards. I think everyone else, it's a little bit alarming to see how much quicker everyone else is around him relative to the McLaren. And nothing to discredit the McLaren, where he's just where he's got. You could have a hardware problem. You might be not feeling in the groove right now. Granted, if you're out of your rhythm, it all kind of just falls away. As we see, Carter gets ahead of Vu as well, and Hode there as well behind him, and Furcalini, thankfully going through turn 1 a lot cleaner than they did last time around. But crazy last few laps for this mid pack. As one to note, 7-11 of Taufik in lots of clean air, but he is closing up on the back of the pack. As there's contact now with the Aston Martin, and Albert, the Mercedes that we praised, has gone around and I'm not sure that is the Aston Martin of Dylan King that we are following right now. We caught that one a bit late as he fighting with the other Mercedes of I believe that is Stimson, or sorry, it might be Zikri, as the 91 Aston Martin gets a run as a result of the poor exit from Albert, but is quite far behind. Is a little bit too ambitious, too late on the brakes.
Invoice.
And I think that is Barker in the Ferrari that kind of was just a little bit caught up innocently in that case.
Was the other Mercedes was Stimson in that one, so yes, but I think Dylan King will be picking up a little bit of an invoice, a little bit of a penalty for that one, as we have a little bit of a Lamborghini tussle now between Paulie and Pascal Armstrong. Pascal Armstrong just avoiding contact with another driver going down into turn 10 after missing the braking zones. We get helmet cam. This is beautiful to watch on with as we look at the Aperture Science livery of Paulie in front. Now,
good run. He's trying to close in, and I believe the Lamborghini of Brendan Paulie does have a bit of a tow from the car ahead, but there is also a Ferrari behind them as well coming at them. I believe that is Barker, yes, looking to the inside of Pascal Armstrong, who, well, we did praise, unfortunately did have a moment as the face does go as a little bump and bang with Barker on the apex there, and Digby in the Lexus looking to capitalize, but nothing can really be done from where he is, and might be under the threat from another Lamborghini of Rashuti as well. Oh my god, it's all chop and change here right now, but Digby definitely said going a lot better. It seems that he wanted to get out of that car immediately at the end of Kota, so maybe you shouldn't give one up on it too soon, but it is going to be a long race for him surely. But P18, still good results so far.
Oh, Christ, that was nearly a move there from Smith there in the cat liveried Mustang. So we look on with Rashuti. Currently sitting in, I believe, P18. It'll be P18, I believe. The thing down the bottom there is just a little bit inaccurate at the moment. Dylan King was involved in that incident before. So it's like Barker. Oh, Paulie getting very, very loose coming out of turn 12. But Barker equally getting very loose. Oh, and Paulie's gone around. That is unfortunate.
Oh dear, oh dear. It's Lamborghini sadness in the case. Yeah, I was going to say, had a moment. Those, they're looking very racy out there, but warm temps and how aggressive they are being, regardless if they're fully fueled or even half fueled, those rear tires have been taking quite a beating. As Ricciardi looks to have a run here on Barker and try to get the move done, but doesn't send it, gets out of it, and doesn't pile drive it into the braking zone, but gets a better run through the corners as Barker went maybe a smidge deep. But hopefully this doesn't end badly with these two. They're definitely from the back row of the grid, obviously making their way through things, but hopefully not making their way through cars as well.
Yes, certainly. And I mean, right now they're both looking on the ragged edge of grip as a bit of a blue flag situation there, the Porsche letting them go on through. And yeah, it looks like Barker for the moment will hold ahead of Rashuti. Is in the background. That blue flag Porsche was causing quite a few problems, but it seems they've managed to get past him. As now Pascal Armstrong all over the back of Smith. Like Smith's actually been able to get through on Pascal Armstrong. So Smith up into P18, and Pascal Armstrong now has a bit more of a challenge to get back into the lead of the AM class, with Digby leading the way of the AMs at the moment.
Yeah. Taufik now into the into the traffic as well, so he won't be doing his cleanest of times, as King here still behind. Weber burned somewhat, did have a few stabs at taking the place off him in the fellow Mustang, but just to shout out to our leaders as well that we've been looking at all the action that's been going on, but they are still nose to tail pretty much. As we're going back to King here. Gets a good run, good speed from the Mustang down the straight on the over Mustang, holds it round the outside. Hopefully space given. It looks like there was given, but maybe just a bit deep from King, and kind of scrubbed out wide as Yoda, the ever experienced driver, retains the lead on the cleaner line. As I was going to say, yeah, Cook here, still going strong behind Naeem, not letting him go absolutely at all, throughout this whole first part of this race. Oh, there's a bit of a slide on exit as well, lovely, but won't be doing anything to do those tyres any good.
They're both doing a fantastic job out front, breaking 5 seconds clear of Hickner at the moment, who is sort of in a little bit of no man's land. Does have Hill sort of close behind, but it's not too close, as now Vintner gets involved in the conversation here between Wellerburn and King. So trying to make it a BMW sandwich with the Mustangs as the bread soon is Ben Vintner in the so far King slow BMW. Is tries to go around the outside into turn 10. You're not really going to get it done there. You're just going to run out of road, and that's exactly what happens to Vintner there. But he looks like he has pace, so he really is not so far King slow.
Yeah, as they try to trip us up with their team names. So we come back to Digby here on the back of Smith, which I believe Smith was one of those drivers that caught up at the start at turn 2. So done a good job to still be in a respectable position, unless there's another Cat Mustang out there that I haven't caught. But doing a good job so far. But yes, all action still in the first 15 minutes, much like Split Yellow was. It'll be interesting to see if people are going to rue the grip that they're taking out their tyres, if they are planning to not take tyres at the stops.
It's been hard and fast stuff from a lot of these drivers. They haven't backed down for a bit of a battle. So far, there's been quite a few clean ones, quite a few that have ended in tears. As we see now, Rashuti still all over the back of Barker, but now Barker is stuck behind McLeod. And that is going to give Rashuti every opportunity to try and fly past, but it's going to be Barker who attacks first on McLeod, up the inside into Repsol. Can he get it done on the inside? It's very, very tight between the two of them. And McLeod still will have the inside now going into turn 5. But I think Barker might be able to do it on the exit with the traction. They're still going at it. This is great racing between the two of them. Through 6 and 7. This will be where McLeod gets the advantage and does so. That's great defensive driving. But now goes a little bit deep. Barker can't quite attack there, but now he's going to try and attack into turn 9. You're not going to do it there, my friend. And he does back out of it. But all that does is it's just a little bit of unnecessary look, and that's brought Rashuti right back into the equation. And he's going to have a go up the inside into turn 10. He does back out of it because Barker's broken quite late as well to try and scare McLeod into a mistake, but nothing doing. This is brilliant as Purcell, so quick on the start, has picked up a drive-through penalty.
Yep, we're causing a collision on lap 1, as well as also Dale Lawson on lap 3, who's also given a drive-through for causing a collision as well. So yes, very dim views being taken by the stewards with the quality of racing. They've had a chat with pretty much I think every split after the race at Kota, and all equally said the same things of they were not impressed and wanted to see massed improvement for Kota for Spain. And I think Split Yellow has been an improvement, definitely on Split Green has been an improvement on Split Yellow, but relative to Kota, I do not recall. But yes, dim views taken, bigger paddlings being given out for the egregious driving.
I think overall Split Green has been fairly clean. I mean, Kota in general was quite a tough round for a lot of drivers, but I think Split Green didn't have too many major incidents, but so far it's been pretty good from Split Green. They're showing why they are, well, given the green light after all.
Absolutely. I do have to wonder if maybe Taufik is ruining his decision to box early. Kind of, maybe look a bit better on paper, granted, but he just doesn't have the benefit of blue flags with a lot of these cars, and we'll have to, granted the leaders will eventually catch up to traffic, but they'll still be net leaders for the most part and have the benefit of blue flags, whereas Taufik has to make positions decisively as he would do for race track position, because it's not ideal for the 711 driver. Definitely going to be struggling out there a little bit. Whether it's going to pay dividends at the end, we shall see, because it's not over until it's over.
Update on Purcell, that drive-through has been rescinded and replaced with a 15-second penalty. That was a mistake from the stewards there. Unfortunately, they accidentally put in a 125-second penalty for Purcell, which was automatically translated to a drive-through. But no, it's a 15-second penalty for Purcell, as it looks like Barker managed to get ahead of McLeod there on that previous lap.
Yep. Would have been quite a big paddling, 125-second penalty to say at the very least. But yes, that's been rescinded now. I don't recall the incident as well, whether we caught it or whether we missed it. But a lot happened on lap 1, to be fair. But Cook still, really not letting McLaren go at all. And McLaren doing a good job to hold off. So Rashudi's holding around the outside now of McLeod. Whether he still has an overlap into the inside or outside of turn 7, is just have to fall back into line.
McLeod's done an excellent job defending against these very, very fast pros so far, but I think it's only a matter of time before Rashudi gets through. So if he doesn't, then Smith's going to be right on him and into turn 10. Is he going to put it up the inside? Yes, he is, and that is nicely done. But he's opened the door there, has McLeod to Smith, and that is great opportunism from the Cat Racing team driver there. And Digby now too goes through in what looks to be a very, very nice move into turn 11.
Yeah, excellent job there by Digby to capitalise, and Smith as well. It was quite cheeky. It's Pascal Armstrong now looking to capitalise on the broken ribbon of the McLaren driver. He got really into the back of the McLaren there, as it was kind of, just needs to find his feet a little bit again. It's so difficult when you get overtaken, and it's just kind of, you can easily just get caught up in a train of cars, as well as they all look to take advantage of your mistake.
Yes, looks like Lee has managed to pick up a drive-through penalty somewhere along the line. So I'll have to serve that in the stuff. I think Lee was picking up quite a few penalties last time out at Circuit of the Americas, as Cook is still all over the back of 9. These two are now 7 seconds clear of Hicknett.
Oh, he's getting so close, is Cook, into the back of Naim. And it'd be interesting to see down the straight. I would have thought maybe the McLaren wasn't very hot at Kota down the straights, but maybe it's faring better here, as it's not necessarily running the maximus of wings. I think at Barcelona, at least on the setups I've been running, and the Mustang is close, definitely been close enough to get a draft, but the McLaren is very good at getting a really good run out of the last couple of corners, and definitely it sticks to the road so easily through the last corner in particular, whereas the front engine cars maybe just wash out a little bit. But the Mustangs here is coming, it's closing the gap. Will it close the gap, get close enough? Coming to turn 1, he's up the inside, it's still side by side like turn 1. There's so close to contact. I think there was a small kick, but Naim recovers it as well, and I think Cook is maybe just kind of stepping a little bit out of it, and knew that was on him, and hopefully that is now just play onto the next lap. But great driving from these two.
Heart in mouth stuff between Cook and Naim. Cook maybe just going a little bit too deep into turn 1. Little bit of contact, and I think he rightly backed out of it there, as we now look on with Alex Tonkin in the number 69. Nice. Red Rebel Racing car, currently seeing P28, but he has made a pit stop, and he's stuck in a bit of traffic now.
Yeah, doing a good job, Tonkin, with the pro promotion. I think he looks very quick as well, like in the McLaren in the Italian Job Series. But I think the Lambo is a little bit stifled, especially with the custom BOP in a lot of these tracks. But still a very quick driver. Great ball. Looks like Foxtrot went into the back of the McLaren, and unfortunately that is Ning Chan now being scattered off into the grass.
Oh.
And no, don't tell me he's caught up Tonkin as well. There's been a casualty followed by another casualty. Whether it was intentional or not, that's still messy, and we don't like to see that at all.
That, to me, that deserves a massive, 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 massive penalty. We'll have a look at the replay. Foxtrot into turn 1 just goes very, very deep. Yeah, that is bad. And then, that rejoin. No.
Yeah. Yeah.
Stop, go 30 or bust, in my opinion, because that is, well, yeah, as Oscar McNeil in chat has put it lightly, suboptimal.
Yeah. Less than ordinary. But yeah, the stewards will be telling that driver that you better start running. Because we're going to come with you with the paddles. You better run for the hills, boy, as Ricciuti here and Barker cannot escape each other, as Barker did have a little bit of a lead as Ricciuti was stuck behind a few cars, but it looks like Ricciuti has the overall pace on the Ferrari and is closing in. And it's Ricciuti. It's been a staple of the Sprint Series of Octane in general, in his Lamborghini, as he know and loves. I will say, like Ricciuti he's a very, very measured operator. He's a bit like, peak Valtteri Bottas, very fast, maybe just a tad reserved. He doesn't basically send anything other than like fully baked sent, like a pass. If it's got to happen, he will take it, but he won't be sniffing around for anything other than a well done steak of a pass.
Yeah, he takes
analogies.
Yeah, yes. Yeah, no, he takes his time and really considers the move, which makes him one of the cleanest drivers to race in OR, and definitely one of the best drivers to race in OR. As I'm looking over in chat and hearing some word of potentially even a DQ for Foxtrot for that one, which would be very, very interesting. But he's still out there on track in the number 6, so we will have to see what happens, but I think, yeah, there'll be a pretty big invoices. Oh dear, Barker goes very, very wide.
No, after all the talk I gave, but that was a really tricky scenario. Thankfully, they're both still going in a straight line, and to be honest, probably not much damage. I did see there was a Porsche off on the exit of turn 12, and looks like the Lambo now, it's going to be in round 2 for another ding-dong Lambo versus Ferrari and a Mustang as well. Lambo got the legs on the Ferrari maybe down the straights. Whether Barker's just being nice there and lifting out a little bit, but I doubt that's Barker's style as he holds it around the outside in the exit of turn 1. This Mustang of Smith looking to have a sniff, but really frankly getting out of it and not making it into a four-wheel calamity.
Everything we said about Ricciuti thrown out the window there, unfortunately. And I think when Ricciuti's getting involved in incidents like that, yes, some of the racing has probably not been the greatest in that regard. So we'll have to keep an eye on things as we go. But yeah, brilliant save there from Barker. He could have easily spun it there, but he managed to hold on to it, which is very, very good for his race.
I think Barker was maybe like spooked a little bit from the car that was off ahead, because I was surprised that Ricciuti even would, it's not a place that you generally get a run on someone, frankly, into the turn 13. But as we go now here into turn 10, as the Mustang looms ever closer, and there is going to be a lap there. There is room given by Ricciuti. He recognizes it there and sends him out to dry on the outside line for turn 12 as well. So yeah, tricky if you're a Ricciuti, to say the least, on what you're doing here now. And yeah, we see now Jacob Weberburn now on the back of Tim Purcell, who does have a penalty, so Yoda will know that. He'll probably be driving to a measure point, as Tim went really deep to defend, but really compromised his line. A shallow inside entry for turn 3, but the Ferrari's got the downforce as well, and the Mustang has got the poke but doesn't have the front aero. He has a look into turn 4 but doesn't really have a long side, but room has been given. Tim is on the outside, it's side by side with a big gap as he cuts across the nose, and Yoda sends it up the inside into turn 5, but it's done. I think it's happened. It's Yoda has taken the place. I was so worried it was going to go badly.
Yeah, I was waiting for there to be a car spun around and more tragedy in this race, but that was excellent from Yoda. He really piled the pressure onto Purcell and made the move stick.
Yeah, and I no discredit to any of the drivers there. It was just all the jinking and all the crazy movements that people like to do. You know, it looks dramatic from the outside, and you just never know what's going to happen as well. As we seeing deja vu as Rashuti comes into the outside of turn 10 again as Barker defends it. Oh, there was a touch on the back, I think, from the Mustang, but the crisscross from Rashuti is giving him the inside and thankfully closes it off by the turn into turn 12. Excellently done. Whether he was looking forward or backwards in that case at turn 10, I'm not too sure.
That is move of the race from Rashuti. Oh my lord, that was incredible. The switch back there going into the braking zone. And once again, Purcell very, very deep. He's struggling on those tires at this point. He needs to come in and change them. He is not going to be going for the splash and dash to this in this one, I don't think. He's thrashed them a bit too hard.
Yep, not really getting the where it's the tires, maybe a little bit of the brakes as well, where he's just trying to brake late a bit too much, and the Ferrari's not really arresting its speed. It does have its, you know, I think it's a little bit like the McLaren, where it has to have quite rearward bias. It does a lot of its braking on the rear axle, where the weight is in, for the most part, for these mid-engine cars, a little bit more rear bias. Yeah. Not looking too good. Where he needs to find his form a bit, maybe he needs to, you know, brake a little earlier. But he's got now Vintner all over the back of him as he different approaches on the entry to turn 9, to say the least, from that camera angle. And surely now whether Vintner's going to think about a move up the inside, but you know, Vintner's pretty measured. Maybe was a little bit deep into the braking zone now, and lost a little bit of ground coming now for turn 12. It'll be interesting to see how this come to the start-finish straight.
Yeah, we'll have to see what happens. I think Tim's just trying to manage things at the moment. Weatherburn is starting to break a little bit clear. What can Vintner's exit be like out of the final few corners? It's not too bad. That Ferrari has struggled to pick up the acceleration, so we'll see what the BMW does. It's not historically known for the pace in the straight lines. It might struggle, but given that Purcell's been going quite deep into turn 1 over the past few laps, we'll see if this happens again. And doesn't look like, I think he's managed to solve. Yeah, he's definitely got the braking point better on that lap.
Yep. Seems to like the shallow entry as well for turn 3. It's a little bit, you know, yeah, different ways of kind of going about the entry to turn 3. Whether you like to have a little bit more of a wide swing in, as now Smith is all over the back of Barker, coming now into the aforementioned turn 3 as well, but I don't think he'll be necessarily getting the edge on the Ferrari in the Mustang through that corner.
Yeah, definitely not easy to go up against a mid-engine car through the corners in a front-engine car, as Foxtrot has picked up a drive-through for Corsi Cushion, I believe. So I'd say, yeah, reasonably fair overall. So yeah, it's an invoice to take.
Absolutely. There's yeah, I believe there's about 1 second gap as the wide from Barker gets a little bit of a squirrely, and invites Smith to go straight up through the inside. Not sure whether he
overtook off track. I'm sorry, but he didn't keep all 4 wheels on the curb, and I think Barker's gonna go back through. He's gonna try it, and I think he might be able to do it as Smith goes off again.
No.
This is tight, a little bit of contact, but not too bad. Rubbing is racing there, and I think Smith managed to hold on for now, but they were both very, very squirrely. But yeah, personally, I don't think he kept all 4 wheels on the track there, as Smith goes deep and has let Barker back through, and I think Smith might be into the pits, and he is.
That was really weird. That.
Oh,
yeah.
And Vintner went off as well.
Yes. There's a late slide there from Tim Purcell in the Ferrari through turn 3. And I wonder if there maybe was a coming together, or it was between these two. Yes, I didn't quite catch that with Vintner. I'll take your word for it. Vintner was off track, but yeah, shout out to Weberman as well. Like, he was really under a lot of threat from King, but has really found his form, and I have to say, like much like Hode as well, was really quick in the practice servers. Credit to him, and it's really paying off so far as well. I imagine, also based on how he started the race, he's probably maybe fueled up for the race, but we shall see on that one.
Yeah, and he's been able to manage the tyre pretty well as we'll take a look at the replay of this bizarre driving between Barker and Smith. They're going to go side by side through 11, get a little bit of contact going into the entry of 12, and loose again as we cut straight back to that same corner, but this time with Purcell and Vintner still going at it. We'll see if Vintner can try anything into turn 1, as that is
Cook.
changed for the lead. Cook is through on 9.
I was trying to say before, I can't worry with all the connection at the beginning, but there was about a 1 second gap happened all between Naim and Cook in Naim's favour. But it was interesting to see what happens here. It's quite far back from Cook, but being a little bit further back, it might be better because you catch him a bit later on, have more time in the slipstream, catch him at the place you want to catch. And he is up the inside decisively, gets it stopped on the apex, and Naim doesn't really fight him. I think he knew that was done. He already had the inside. It was wasn't going to fight that losing battle. Lead taken there by Cook.
Yeah, and excellently done too. We'll see if Naim can do anything through these corners, but yeah, I don't know. I think it's going to be interesting to see what happens from here in terms of the strategies. It's 25 minutes ago. Still quite a few drivers yet to make their first stops. Of course, no mandatory tyre changes in this one. Taufik's up to 13th, but he's still got a lot of ground to catch up.
Yeah, Taufik only just crossing the end of Sector 1 through here, here in turn 4, Repsol Corner. So, not sure how long the transit time is with a splash and dash, but it is looking about 30 seconds between him and the leaders, which is probably what it is for the transit time. But I'll let people who've actually measured that figure it out. As we see Hode here, still behind Carter as well for this Pro-Am battle. Doing a good job, but I think definitely for Hode as well. Was very quick in qualifying, but I think he knows that he's got his battle is between him and his tyres, and it probably hence why he hasn't shown the red hot super pace he was in qualifying, because he's been managing them maturely in the fashion he needs to.
Yes, certainly, and yeah, Carter's just getting away a little bit there, but we'll see where that comes back to Hode later on. He's fastest at 45.3, and his previous lap was a 47.8, so definitely going a few clicks slower.
I was going to say 47 slows might have had a bit of a moment, because that's somewhat of a slow lap, not just conservative. I wonder if his pace is being dictated by the car in front somewhat. So Jay Carter doing a good job there in the Aston Martin.
Here is Dylan King on Rando. King in the slipstream, pretty much matching his fastest laps in the race so far. Aston Martin versus Aston Martin, that's a send and a half. And is he going to pull it up? Yes, he is. That's a really good move from Dylan King.
Absolutely as well. Got Rando napping a little bit. There's Jared King here behind J-Rad in the McLaren, and there's probably going to get past him well before turn 1 based on the exit he had.
Has King changed tyres here? Because he's fallen a long way back compared to some of his rivals.
I was going to say, he was ahead of Ricciuti and they both stopped, and now he is behind on track, so I would suggest that might be the case.
Interesting. Well, looks like he's got quite a bit of pace at the moment, but how long will that pace last him as we look at Taufik, still in P13 and stuck behind McLeod. McLeod has been a real cork in the bottle for these pros today, both terms of same stops and different stops, but 2 figures he's effectually... No! Oh, no.
Oh, he was right behind the number 9 car and had a much better run and kind of had to duck out of it, but unfortunately there was a lapped Porsche that was to be honest, just minding their business, getting out the way as he needed to, and unfortunately, as Taufik just pulled out of it, he kind of caught the TC at the wrong moment and went for a bit of a slide. That's bad. That's bad. There's Vu here on the back of the Mercedes as we get a replay here. Oh dear, oh dear. Just not what we want to see.
It's just really unfortunate. He's reacted to the better exit and has just lost the group. And that is just really unfortunate. Nothing the 37 could have done differently there, really, and nothing that Taufik could have done differently there, unless he had the power of hindsight, which, you know, not always easy to come by. So yeah, that is just really unfortunate all around.
Well, that puts a nail in that strategy coffin, to say the least. It was going to be a big ask, because I was wondering, with the one thing that you would probably make things better for his strategy, having boxed early and was in the traffic, was Naeem and Cook were battling as much as they were, maybe holding themselves up a little bit, but that's all. It's gone, unfortunately, into the recycling bin and is ought to be filed appropriately, as that is surely done, but definitely potential to get a maybe still a top 10%, the 711 car, unless a penalty is incoming, because I don't think any other driver was at fault there, I have to say.
Yes. Meanwhile, King in the Mustang got a drive-through penalty, so dropped further bit down, and I think, at this point, the fresh tyres he has will mean absolutely nothing.
Yes, I trust that was for the Mustang of J King, because we do have two Kings. I don't remember, we have the one in the Aston Martin of DK. We could maybe call him
DK and JK.
DK and JK. Two different, motor, one fictional character, one singer. But yes, both like their cars. But drifting here not appropriate, nor is singing, to be honest.
Yeah, certainly.
Cosmic Girl still best song though for the measure.
As we look on with Dylan Smith all over the back of Stimpson here in the 277 Mercedes. The Mercedes not too popular in the split. There's only 3 of them, and that they're all Pro-Am drivers of Albert, Stimpson, and Zikri there. But Smith, meanwhile, in the ever popular Mustang, and has been doing a very, very good job so far in this one. And I believe he's gonna try and get past Stimpson here into the chicane. What's the braking like in that forward? I think he's on fresh tyres based on that braking performance.
Yeah, I was gonna say, because I think he was ahead of Digby before the stops as well.
Oh, well and truly, yeah.
Yeah, so that did just dawn on me as well. Has done a very good job, since that he was caught up in all that first lap stuff, whether he was the perpetrator or just a innocent bystander, to say the least. But Digby here, I did see Digby. You were, maybe you're watching this later in the race, or someone informed you, but you were quick to eject yourself from the Lexus. I think you tried to do a car change. No car changes allowed until mid-season, where only one is required, and the foot is well and truly been stamped on that. No car changes at all until then. Firm stance, as appropriately taken from the governing body on this series, and that is the rules. Is what it will be. But yes, I think I can understand after one race, especially at Kota, where every car feels like absolute doo-doo, the wanting to get rid of the Lexus straight away. But he's definitely having a good race here, going well, especially for someone with an M class. No shade given there. He's doing a very good job for his classification.
And he's about 7 seconds behind the AM class lead at the moment, looking at past McLeod to find his way a little bit closer to Pascal Armstrong, who once again is doing a very, very solid race. Has had a few little minor things happen to him here and there, but overall being pretty solid from Pascal Armstrong, and Digby trying to rain on his parade a little bit, as Digby is now through on McLeod and up to P19.
Yeah. Maybe wouldn't have he also one though. He wouldn't have taken tires because of avoids him. I think him Smith would have been a lot closer. But definitely heard that the Lexus, well, don't need to really hear it. It's just a fact. Not too great on its tires, but looking in better shape so far, with more pace over McLeod, and hopefully he has saved enough rubber for this final 16 minutes. As it's really started to fly by it lately, as the leaders still have yet to do their stops. So the 695 still leading on, and I believe the is 9-man shoe box? No, I apologize. 15 seconds though for Taufik. I'm not sure if we covered that for that collision, which will take him out of that pace. We haven't seen too much of Benjamin Hignett, but still going there in P3 net overall. Pretty safe for P3 right now as well, given Taufik is taking himself out of the question.
Hang on. Taufik has a 15-second penalty for that. It wouldn't be for his loss of traction, would it? That he hit the back marker, right?
I'm not too certain. But causing a collision is what the penalty was given for on lap 21, and I don't think we saw anything but that that one.
Right. Well, I'll wait for some more just word from the stewards. That is the driver who was a lap ahead, I think. So no issues there for King. Aston Martin, not sure who that would be. I'm just trying to think. Hignett going through there. He's still yet to make his stop.
Yep. As Dylan King looking on the back of McLeod. Feel bad for McLeod because he's still going well out there, but unfortunately every time we cut to him he seems to be being overtaken, but he's still going strong so far in P19. Definitely a few cars still left to box that he will benefit from.
Here is Barker around the outside of Stimpson into turn 9. Can't do anything there, but might get the better exit than Stimpson, who is just starting to struggle a little bit in that Mercedes. And now up the inside for Barker. Can he make this cleanly into turn 10? Yes, he can. Nicely done by the Milwaukee livery driver. So we have 14 minutes and 15 seconds left in this one. Still quite a few drivers yet to make their stop, including a lot of the front runners in this one, as Cook is well clear of Naim, who just rolls into the pit lane now.
Yeah, like there's been a fair gap started to emerge as maybe Naim went a bit harder on his tires than Cook. Whether Cook's just done a better job just covering up those tires, we shall see. But still a very respective job done by Naim. Looking like Cooks to lose so far.
Yes, definitely.
Code here, really struggling to do anything to this Aston Martin. Obviously, we wax lyrical about Porsche and its straight line to tings, but Aston Martin, definitely no slouch down the straights as well, and just a very good car overall. Good traction, good balance, everything so far, especially with the custom BOP. I think we did see Purcell in the pits.
Yes, indeed, and Purcell will have that 15 seconds to serve whilst in the pit lane, so that's going dropping a long way down as Naim is back out on track in P6 and in a bit of clean air, so well clear of Taufik in the Ferrari, who has that 15-second penalty. Here is Hurd still all over the back of Carter there.
Yep. Yeah, shout out to Hignett and Hill. Really haven't mentioned or even seen those two this whole race, but just been quietly plugging away in their respective positions and looking good for a P3 and P4 respectively for the end of this race. Yeah, nothing more. You can't complain with that.
That's it. As we look at Graham Hill currently sitting in P3 yet to stop. He'll probably come in the last few laps of this race. We've got 12 minutes to go. Just counting there is 10 drivers still yet to make their stop. That's Cook, Hignett, Hill, Weatherburn, Vintner, Carter, Hode, Turcolini, Keane, and Paulie. Keane has had a reasonable sort of race, although Paulie did drop a fair way back with that unfortunate spin going through turn 13 earlier on.
Yep. Chris Albert here said unfortunately do a bit of recovery drive from his earlier incident. And also on the back of McLeod, as I said before, I feel bad for him. Every time we cut to McLeod, he's getting overtaken, but shows that he's kind of just doing his own strategy, and he's kind of just, that's how he's been jumping a lot of places, by just doing his own pace, staying clean, and really just, not letting anyone flummox him too much, and overall losing time. And that's, you can push hard to do, gain a little bit here, a little bit there, but if you're just consistent, do your lap pace, stay clean, out of trouble, you'll find positions will just naturally come to you.
Yep, that's it. And McLeod's had to deal with a lot of very, very fast drivers behind him today. He had Rashuti, Barker, he had Taufik behind him many times throughout this race. And yeah, he's managed it pretty well. Rashuti currently there in P14 after Keane has come into the pits. It's been a very, very reasonable comeback from Rashuti. He started all the way at the back of the field in P37, being P14 after the race that he's had. Very, very impressive, and he could move up more positions if he gets past Vu. And of course, Paulie will come into the pits soon.
Just over 10 minutes to go, and we've got Graham Hill in the box doing his mandatory. Interesting to see. It's really hard to tell with some of these drivers, like who has boxed, whether they've taken tires, whether they're just splash and dashed. Yeah, it's a little bit tricky to tell. Some speculation out there that Naeem has taken tires.
I don't think so. That gap to Vintner has stayed pretty stable.
Yeah, and you would think, given if he had, he would have shown a lot more electric pace they have been doing. And we'll wait to see how it comes out, but yeah, I'm sure, like in Split Yellow, the last few runners will leave it to the very last minute, because I'm not sure, it's just like, if you've got no reason to box, then don't box until you absolutely need to.
Yes.
Don't kill your rhythm, don't recycle your tires unnecessarily, essentially.
Yeah, I was about to say, there is definitely a need to box. It's just when that need arises, that's the real question, is Barker! Oh, that was close. I will say it's been a much cleaner race from Barker this week than it was last week. He got involved in a lot of incidents at Kota and has shown much better racecraft this time around here at Catalunya, of course, getting involved in a little bit of an incident with Rashuti before, but managing to save the car really well. And hopefully this can be good signs for David Barker moving forward as he tries to get past the McLaren there of Keane with Smith all over the back of both of them. Oh, that was close. Keane managed to hold on.
Yeah, Keane went deep, but has been crisscrossed by Barker. But does Barker have the grip to go around the outside a la Alonso line? But no, not really. As I think is Keane, well, I thought he might retain the advantage, but has got Barker up the inside. Barker sticks to the apex as he needs to, and Keane just washes out wide and now into the clutches of Smith in the Mustang, which we did speculate he did take tires, so hopefully... Oh, there's been a bit of a argy-bargy on the exit between the two. I'm sure Smith probably won't appreciate that and just sends it up the inside and says deal with it, frankly, and goes up the inside. That's the fresh tires for you. But a great job there by Smith.
Yeah, definitely. Now, here is, he's been overtaken by Rashuti, so Rashuti up into P12, and will move up another position with the penalty for Taufik, and could still move up more positions with Turcolini yet to pit. So very, very good showing from Rashidi if he gets into the top 10 in this one, as Hode is out of the pits and will be circulating sort of around that P11 area, I'd say. Digby on is that King? So King's actually gotten through on Digby, so good pace being shown by Dylan King later on in this race, and they're both chasing after Pascal Armstrong for a top 15 finish.
Yeah, I'm not sure if either name was not really present at Kota or whether he wasn't racing or anything like that. But let's see, Hill here a little bit hampered by Ferklini, who's still yet to box. But definitely, I think a boost up to silver from Naeem, especially if you're going to do 43 mids and put it on pole position. I think that's not just a good weekend for you. That's a sign of your real pace.
I mean, Captain, it's Wednesday.
Yeah. Oh, who lives in a pineapple under the sea?
SpongeBob SquarePants, I guess. I don't know. As we see Graham Hill up the inside of Damiano. Damiano still yet to pit in this one, because Carter has come into the pits now.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see if Hode and Carter...
Oh, that's a send from Barker. Wow, big move from Barker up the inside of Digby. And he's made it stick. That is huge. Huge.
Huge with a W. But yes, Barker very decisive. I think Digby here in the battery saver mode, damage limitation with whatever rubber he's got left on those wheels. And surely Smith will come through with much vigor as well, given that we know it's a safe bet he's on tyres. We can see just in that last corner as well, like just the, it doesn't really matter what line or anything like you take, you just can't carry the speed. As we see here, I was going to say Hode and Carter, it was interesting to see where they come out, and they're still just nose to tail, which will not please Hode at all.
Why does Carter still have his mandatory stop?
Carter
still has a mandatory stop listed there.
What have you done?
Did he not take fuel? Did he just stop in his box and get going again?
Oh dear, oh dear, oh dear.
Because I think you have to take at least 1 litre of fuel. You cannot just stop in your box.
Yes, you have to take at least 1 litre. I know some people take like 1 or 2, I mean maybe even 3 just to be safe, because apparently it's been unreliable in the past. I've not fallen trigger up with that. I know the timing board sometimes is not exactly reliable, but I don't think it's ever been wrong on whether your pit is counted or not.
Turns out he did take 1 litre, but he's got a bug, so he has made his mandatory stop, but the game just hasn't picked that up. Thank you, Kunos.
Yes.
As there's Smith up the inside of Pascal Armstrong. Look at that. The AM class battle is right there. It is Pascal Armstrong versus Digby, who takes it out in the AM class. This is going to be excellent right to the end. We've got 3 minutes to go. Smith goes very, very wide as Pascal Armstrong looks like he's really struggling with his tyres at this point.
It's all for your taking, Digby. Just be conservative. You've only got a few minutes, or a little bit too much curb and a bad exit. And now Pascal Armstrong is going to be towed along by the Mustang a little bit. Lamborghini's famously not very good down the straights, but whether it's going to matter at all, because the Lexus is coming. Action. Don't think it'll be enough for an overtake, but it'll be enough to stay in the mind. Pascal Armstrong, I think, reactionary brakes and has gone way too deep, and they're going side by side through turn 2, inside the line for the Lexus into turn 3. It should come out better, but Pascal loves to send the car into the corners, much to his detriment, but it has worked into turn 3 as Digby plays it safe, but you're surely matter of time. But they do have another car coming up in the background, Jay King, who is pretty speedy, as we saw earlier.
Yes, indeed. That was good racing there between Pascal Armstrong and Digby. I'm surprised that Pascal Armstrong was actually able to hold her around the outside. That was really well done. I think Digby, not wanting to cause any contact, just try and consolidate the position. probably played it safe there and did the right thing overall. As Turcolini is now into Le Pit Lane.
Yep. Mustang is really closing in, and the Lexus. He's thinking about it. He's got the nose up there. He's made Pascal
Here comes King.
react. King's going to be on the outside, whether he's entitled to the space he's been given, and Digby leaves him the space.
Brilliant move.
Been done a good job there. Was very risky as well, because we've seen that go badly as well. Oh my goodness, as the McLaren spun off ahead. I'm not too sure who that was, but nothing. Oh goodness, as well with the great mad rejoin, and then onto the gravel as well, as we got the leader in Team JHDSBK JHFSDB. Thanks, Brad Cook.
Yeah, we're getting word in from the stewards that was in fact a bug, as we are now onto the last lap of this race, whereas Nime is coming around the final corner now, so Cook will be well and truly clear, and he's got a nice open run to the flag as we have a minute to go, so this will absolutely be the last lap in this race, sorry.
Absolutely, as John Sinikas blesses us all with 10 more Big Mac Happy Meals in the chat. We do thank him very much for his gifted subs.
Oh, King's going on the drive-through.
Oh, King's going to drive through, and he's going to muscle his way past Carl Armstrong. Tongue twister in a case in that one. These guys should be, I don't think they have been overall laps yet, because you can see the leader behind them on track, so they should get, obviously, the rest of this lap, but one more of it. And I think Digby, just be close. Just get right onto the back of that Lamborghini at the last sector, and surely he'll blast past them, and we'll show. You don't need to do anything more than that. Play it safe.
Yes, indeed. It's going to be very, very interesting to the end here. Digby all over that Lamborghini, and we'll see what happens with King. I'd say that either stay out and just take the penalties. No, it says final lap, but they'll have one more because they haven't been overtaken by the race leader, who is coming through turn 12 now. It's been a great race from Brad Cook, who had to do it a little bit in the hard way, overtake Nime, who had a great qualifying, and I mean, he's still going to be P2 overall in this race. Brad Cook showing his dominance, as we see side by side between Pascal Armstrong and Digby. Will stay on board with this, but I think Digby will get it down into turn 1 and does, and takes the lead in the M class. But around the final corner now, Brad Cook crosses the line to win race round 2 here for Split Green in the OR Simrigs Sprint Series. A very, very strong result for me with fastest lap. Nime will come across the line in second in. It was a very, very strong performance from him, and he will be in the pro class next time out. Benjamin Hignett will round out the podium. Nicely done from him, as we still have battles going around the track. This is Smith up the inside of King. That could be contact. How have they not made contact so far? That's unbelievable, that. And they're still going side by side. Wow, this is tight stuff, but I think Smith has it up the inside, and he does up the P16.
Excellent stuff there by Smith on the fresher tyres, and really commanding overtakes as well. Very decisive, but very clean as well. Space given, not space wasted as well, and they're doing a very good job as King, tries to maybe play a bit mental games, has a look up the inside. Ooh, might have actually done a little bit to unstabilize Smith, but surely will have enough as long as he keeps it on the straight and narrow for towards the end now, as we do finish up our top 10 and 11 and now all across the line, and it should be here the Smith ahead of King for ahead of the other King, but we'll have at least I believe a 30-second pen as that DT gets converted. But never mind, Digby unfortunately has fallen behind Pascal Armstrong, as Pascal Armstrong retakes pole position of P1 for this race. Wow. And crosses the line 4/10 ahead of the Lexus. Excellent job by both of them regardless.
Absolutely, that's really well done in the end there by Pascal Armstrong to get back past Digby. Did not expect that, and that will just about do it there for Split Green in what was a pretty solid race, I'd say, all around. We'll take a look at some results for you. It was Cook winning out from Nime, Hignett, Hill, and Weatherburn, your top 5 in the silver class, we saw Purcell, Vu, Turcolini, Smith, and King. The Pro-Am class, it was Nime, Hode, and then you'll see in the it'll be Carter that will end up being in the top 3 there for the Pro-Am class after the penalty is removed. AM class, we had Pascal Armstrong getting past Digby right towards the end, and then Austin rounding out your top 3 there. Wow, good racing all around, I would say, for Split Green. Some incidents here and there that were questionable, to say the least, but overall, very, very well done. Did you have a driver of the day for that one, Cam?
It's a little bit tricky, not gonna lie. I kind of want to give it to both AM drivers, to be honest, just for the most part, keeping it, to be honest, even just keeping it clean. It was maybe like maybe a smidge erratic, maybe a smidge out of control here and there, but like it was still very good from those two. I'll give it to the AM duo. Maybe even though it's they can share that one, they can I don't know, bandsaw it in half.
Yes, no, I'd say that's very, very fair. For me, I'm giving it to Rashidi after coming up from P37 on the grid to what will be P11 after Carter's penalty is removed, but still excellent, excellent result for Stefano Rashidi in the Lamborghini. Even with a few little small incidents here and there, he still put in a very, very strong race. But that will do it for tonight for the Octane Online Racing Simrigs Sprint Series here from round 2 at Barcelona.